It's the March for Home Grow. We're a little early. We're still waiting for the 10,000 to get here. About 5,000 here right now. All right, this is the March for Home Grow. Because it's kind of sick that there's people in this state that can grow cannabis for profit, but there are people with cancer that go to jail if they grow it. That's not jail, but some rich white guy can grow weed for money. But you can't grow it for your multiple sclerosis. You're going to go to jail. How do you feel about that?
It's not fair, but life isn't fair.
Oh, life isn't fair.
Life's not fair.
Oh.
You gotta be rich to make it fair.
Oh.
If you're poor like me, it's not fair at all.
What do you think about this? What's your name and what are you doing here?
Me? Oh, I'm Sean Fitzgerald. I'm just here to join in the march and everything.
Nice.
Happy I can do.
It'd be a great thing.
Yeah.
If we grow it all together, it'd be even better.
Hold on, we got a call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, Lefty.
Hey, what's going on, my man? How are you?
What's happening, brother?
Good, man. We're marching for Home Grow here in New Jersey because we have to fight. We got to fight for what we want.
I do not grow weed in Pennsylvania. I am a cannabis patient, but I fully support everything we're doing so that we can end this fruitless prohibition.
Yes. Yeah, we're the low-hanging fruit.
They think until we unite.
Yeah, until we run them over.
Yeah.
Grow it for themselves.
Oh, it's not even about, us making money. It's about us trying to sustain a better living situation for ourselves without having to, be commercially regulated by the state.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like 18 plants. 18 plants would be good for me.
You want to try on it, but we should be able to grow no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, I can have a whole, fruit and vegetable garden if I want, and there's nobody here that's going to tell me otherwise.
I have to work on
I can have, a flower garden, and nobody's going to tell me otherwise.
Right. You can grow tomatoes. You can.
Prerogative, if you will.
There should be a song like that. The answer is, how do you think we're going to get this? Are we doing the right thing by pressuring our government?
Representatives that are in our area, we have to see where their heart lies.
Well, right now it is for money.
Entire debacle.
Yeah, there is some people here. They're actually behind the camera. There's a bunch of people behind camera. There's some people in front of the camera. And there'll be more people here. Chucky Kwiatkowski's here. He's around somewhere. There's Chucky. There he is. What's your sign say?
It says, please restore Kuma.
Here, come over here on the mic. I want to talk to you. The yellow mic right there. Or that one, yes. The white one's good. Chuck Kwiatkowski.
Hey guys, welcome. My sign says, please restore Kuma. Allow 6. I sat here in Trenton through all the hearings back in the early 2000 years.
You did.
Absolutely.
I watched you.
And when the bill finally passed, it initially had 6 plants and 2 usable ounces. Even at the prices they charge are twice the price of street marijuana, and I can't just burn my life away. Money is worth something to a family, and that's where I'm here to grow. Home cultivation is mandatory in my life.
Chucky, what do you go without in order to afford your cannabis for the month? You go without a lot. What do you go without?
I go without a lot of recreational things that most people would do if they had extra cash or overlooked that you just can't afford to do because cannabis costs you your life. Everything in your family's world relies on your cannabis. Sacrifice cheerleading practice because of cannabis.
That's disgusting.
Not for her sake, but for my value that I can't afford to go. If I would have afforded it, I might have made it to cheerleading practice. I do make a few of them. My wife handles the others. But still, there's times that I really could rely on cannabis, and it should be grown with my tomatoes. That's how the law originally started.
What's that, Chris?
I said amen. That's what it should be.
Amen. Grow it in the house, grow it in the field, treat your plants well, and you get a good yield. Thank God
I
for
love her
cannabis.
like my spider
I'm going to
plant.
get out of here. I just want to let you guys know that you have the support of... All right, brother.
Thanks,
I'll catch you in
man.
a bit.
What color is your kilt today? You're wearing a kilt. What color is it?
It's the green and black.
Sorry, I hung up on him. You know we hang up on people, Chris. Iron kilt. He's wearing his kilt today in support of you, Chucky. Now, Chuck, do you wear a cheerleading uniform when you go to the cheerleading practice?
I'm wearing a kilt, but really it's made by Depends undergarments.
Oh, Jesus.
It might look like a kilt, but only with the pleats in it. I play a different horn.
Oh, my goodness. What are you smoking on, Chucky? You have anything to smoke? You got joints?
I lost 2 joints on my way here.
No,
so-
you didn't. No.
I have them. They're somewhere in my life.
Okay.
I have to go backwards in life to find them.
Like the legislature. Act like our legislature and cannabis patients in front of you. Well,
You live and you learn.
sclerosis. You got multiple sclerosis. You can't grow it. My friend has cancer. Come on. Are you serious? What is this?
What was it called? Sour D.
Grab a mic. I'm going to hear. Grab that.
I have some diesel drift I lost in my car.
I'm back.
I'm back.
Killer shit.
Hi, Steven.
Hello, Jed. How you doing? And then you'll be back in the front on Thanksgiving on Thursday, right?
Thanksgiving, we're back in the front with, yeah, it's going to be amazing.
I'll probably stop over for a short time because I got to be at work by like 2 o'clock.
On Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Oh, you're serving?
Yeah.
Where at?
Somewhere in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, so I have to drive my own car.
A catering kind of thing?
Yeah, they're going to deliver it, and I'm just serving it.
So you get to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm also ordained, so I do a different form of serving, but I do serve once in a blue.
Okay.
Pretty
gotcha.
much anyone with love.
Okay, cool. Nice.
What you puffing on over there?
I guess some sour D.
Be over it in a minute.
All right, cool.
Woo! This cold weather does not agree with my spine and the metal in my spine.
No, not at all.
Or my rotator cuff issues, which I just found out about.
I got a rotator cuff.
I got all these
issue, too.
freaking issues now. Like, Jesus, really?
That's funny.
I want to grow weed for my rotator cuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus.
That's me.
Nice. Where's my dad? Let
Thank
me
you,
see.
but you don't touch the hot part, man.
Okay.
That shit gets really hot. I know I grab that part all the time.
Yeah, me too. It's
The
just
hot
like I'm
side.
used to it.
You got to develop them calluses.
All right.
So, Steven, what's the story?
I don't know. Let's.
What are we going to do?
I'm here for support.
What are we going to do? How are we going to get this done?
I don't know. We got to figure out a way to get it through.
We got to fight.
First of all, we got to try to put it in the language that they're going to try to put on the ballot. So we got to talk to whoever is going to put that language on the ballot.
We need a champion. Who's our
So-
champion?
I don't know.
Do we have a champion in the Senate?
My back.
Do we? I don't think we do.
I don't know.
Maybe Jim knows, but we need a champion.
We would probably know.
We need someone that's going to kick ass for us.
Well, first of all, who's the one responsible on who's going to put it and write it out as the person supposed to see it on the ballot? Why not? I mean, all
I
the
know,
time
man,
that
I'm going through the problem,
the
too.
8 years
I
of
can't take
Christie
my
we went
backpack
through and all
off.
those roadblocks and before that, I mean, why can't medical have grow?
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be even okay if it was just medical that had the grow. I mean, that's fine with me.
That's how it
You know what I mean?
started.
Yeah,
It
that's
began
how
that way.
you know because they're the ones that really need it. I'm sorry, and
I
they
appreciate
can
it.
benefit from that.
Start with the medical at least.
It has to
At least.
start
So we got
somewhere.
to find out who is going to put the language in the bill, and that's who we got to talk to about including this in that language for the bill.
Here's an idea. Everybody go to your doctor
Right.
and ask your doctor to write you a letter why we need home grow. Your doctor knows. Your doctor sees your struggles.
Yeah, but what if he's in with the dispensaries though?
Nah, I doubt it. These doctors
My
are...
doctor would do that.
Yeah, my
He
doctor would
think
do it.
about
Ask your doctor to write you a letter about home
have
grow.
two
We're
doctors
going to get a
that think
stack
about
of
it.
letters from all the patients, copy them, and give them to Scutari, give them to all our guys and say, listen, you got 100 doctors here that think that we should have home grow.
Well, you guys said one of them took it out. The Senate had passed it already, even for before,
The
right?
Senate
and then they
passed
took the
it.
language out at the last second.
Oh, let's ask Jim Miller. He'll
I mean,
know.
why he did that, and why can't we put it back? Why can't we put it back? Why did this?
Than anyone. He's like, I don't know.
Notice how I didn't talk to you till I sat down in front of the microphone. I've been here before. Okay, yeah. There was home cultivation in 13 states that had medical marijuana, it's sort of called then, law, and they all could grow more than 6. They all had better. It was the strictest, and patients didn't like it. But you're going to take what you can get. So it passed in the Senate on the full floor. I go into an Assembly Health Committee meeting. I'm here to watch it get passed in the Assembly.
Doctor.
With a name like Herb. Dr. Herb
Dr. Herb is supposed to be smart.
gets up and says, there's been some changes made to this bill. I'm going to read them to you now. There's going to be less than 10 minutes of arranged discussion, and this is the bill that we will be passing here today out of committee. It's where you can hear the words, but you're
Right, yeah.
It's like a little surreal. You
Like
feel your
nitrous.
heartbeat. You can hear it, and pain as an indication. General pain was not yanked out.
Yeah.
Only if it was one of 7 reasons. If you've had both arms ripped off in a thresher accident,
Sorry for your luck.
no cannabis for
Nope,
you.
you gotta wait.
Not on the list. So that and
Sorry for your luck.
no home cultivation.
That sucks.
I'm almost getting that feeling right now.
But who do we go to try to see, like,
Well,
how
here's
can we
the deal.
do we have
If
to
you
get
take your
signatures?
car to a mechanic and it doesn't work, what we need to do is we need to know why did Herb Conaway take that out of the bill. Guess what?
What?
It's still a secret. He refuses to say.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
We don't have the right to
no,
know?
But I'm not just saying that.
Okay.
I'm not just
It's
saying
true.
no, I don't, because it's like, well, gee, Jim, did you ask him? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. I'm not just assuming that. My better 2/3, people got a better half. I got a better 2/3. You got to know the balance. She's a constituent.
Yes.
And we were ignored by a great letter she wrote. Me. Okay. Yeah. Great letter I wrote.
They still
And I've
ignored
been
you.
doing this.
What?
So I'm setting up this paper trail so I can say this now. This was maybe 10 weeks ago.
Okay.
After a month, my God, we got no reply. Should I email again? No, let me take the email and bring it to his office with her. So we did. And a very confused Gina was, well, what do you want? And it says right here. We want to talk with somebody on staff about this. Oh, by the way, if you want to talk to your representative, ask for an appointment with an appropriate staffer.
Oh.
Because then you won't hear, I've got 60,000 constituents. I'm having a very hard time getting out with all of them, blah, blah. Well, we don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to your chief of staff. He's got time, right? Yeah. Okay, how about his? Yeah, because what happens is no knee-jerk reaction. You show them your cards, everything we say all the time. You put it on a table, and they say, I can't really discuss this, I don't want you to talk. I want you to listen. Then he goes to the boss. The boss says, what do they got? They got a good hand, So anyway, I dropped it off. Gina called back to confirm it, went to his office. That was 6 weeks ago.
Wow.
So what do I do now? I'm asking you all, what do you think I should do? See, I'm going to take the quantum leap. It's like first step, second step, screw you,
Take the big jump.
end result. And I've been arrested more than once. Not that I want to do that. I'm just saying, Lefty tried asking Assemblyman Michael Patrick Carroll, this on a podcast because he was an original co-sponsor of the bill.
Okay.
He was being screwed.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah. Well, what we need to do is let Herb Conaway. Silence is not an option anymore. And Lefty, people don't ask me for advice except for people who want to get shit done.
Nice.
So Lefty called me up before then, and it was something like, look, it's not like we're trying to find out the whereabouts of D.B. Cooper or the Loch Ness Monster. Right? You see, somebody, D.B. Cooper, for those who wouldn't know, was executed out the money and was never found again.
Wow.
But, Lefty and Wayne Burrini you couldn't. And it has to be on record.
Well, we got to try to figure out on who we can encroach to get what we want on that.
Hey, hi, Ken Wolski.
Yes, there are many. Right now, the governor does not first introduce the medical marijuana bill to the legislators until the legislators get it. And this is a process talking to any organization that you happen to be I got the State Nurses Association to endorse medical marijuana. You're not relying on yourself. You have, and and
that was a year before. That's where we met. But when walk in and say, group
of healthcare professionals in the country not endorsing legalization.
They are about patient care. Doctors.
Right. And part of our job is to continually assess how you increased or decreased, and medical marijuana, at least among nurses. Now, even the American Nurses Association, Medical Association has done. They have refused to endorse this, but nurses have been very supportive. And this is to talk to them, ask them. Explain to them the rationale. Won't you take a resolution in support of home?
Break out and just start talking about that even.
If you're a religious organization, have a talk with the pastor of the parish.
Long before email,
okay,
I'd go fishing and I'd get a book of addresses of famous people, and among others, and they got back and said that they, in Cheryl's case, Billy Graham endorses that? Well, yeah, he's good about that. Just invite people and do something. It's people are meeting who never really spent from this, Yeah. And there's one other thing that'd be kind of legalization into a bill that would odds that I would say were sure that it wasn't going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. It didn't happen. Now it's likely to make sure you want to try to get it on what's going. Besides that, or risk being seen. Michelle, get right, propagate it. So let it.
Ow! Yes, we are every day.
Like this, that okay, somebody's going. Well, it's more of a. It's not a dive, buddy. And you would think I wouldn't have been surprised how good it was for my foot. Catastrophic. And I got pins and stuff sticking pillows and. Before, no, it was a friend of mine. But my surprise, by the time we got from Jersey Shore to the, you know what 6 is on that scale? Looks like when I lose my keys, they show a face. Oh hell! At that moment, I was surprised, and I couldn't believe it. I never feel that kind of relaxed. And yet she had MS, discovered it helps. And you think it works for everything. I'm going to need help. There are 14 senators out of 40 in New Jersey who voted yes, 20 to Jersey. Of the patients in the state, say by him because he won't say it's somebody else. It becomes his decision. Tilted in our favor.
You got to be able to tell the
why it broke. Fix me. Yeah, it doesn't need somebody getting in their way. They don't need somebody running away. You need to extrapolate, and I extrapolate more like 90 minutes, but I love the sign. Where's the litmus test? Because every patient gets their medicine.
This is not going to happen overnight. Right now, the adult use.
We've made mistakes and assumptions before, so let's not assume.
To build bridges among people and among organizations. That corporate cannabis is one of the ways that has really improved. There's a great financial incentive for them, and what a difference it makes once big companies come into it. It really does make a difference to do away with corporations.
You gotta fight the man.
Fight the power.
Come on.
No, reach out to the man.
Brian has something to say about this.
Sporting team, your own team, but you got to back your quarterback. You got a policy project my whole life. If they can lead me to the
to give us to hire an independent contractor for an entire. You may have some disagreements with how these organizations. Walls is a Trump thing. Bridges is
and a smirk. No, I'm not a double. Like it's going to be here for 3 more years, so I've got to be signed the petition. Now, you know how much easier it hurt me in a way. And also, there's a good picture of me and Steve Vitelli and Nick Scutari. But you got to give me something.
It's your email address. We will send you monthly updates on coalition meetings that we have at the second Tuesday of every month. And we'll continue to meet there until we New Jersey. But it's a very informative, like I said, for well over a decade now. So thank you for your support. And again, we even give snacks of the Coalition for Medical Marijuana New Jersey, second Tuesday of every month.
The federal thing of coming out of
and that's going to pass on the floor, and will not pass.
Running it.
Less than one.
A marijuana descheduling law has moved this far. It's
At a
passed out
committee.
at
They're
a
doing it then.
That's what
Here's
we
what
gotta work
happens
on,
here.
too.
We're not getting a vote on legal. It is not going to become law, but they're going to pass it because it's going to make sense, and it's having the discussion. So we
Well,
didn't
why
have
should
Makes
they pay
sense.
taxes and
No,
everything?
none of it makes sense,
And,
but
then,
it-
and there's no
yes.
laws for there's nothing to help them out even. So they can.
committee in Washington to hear the arguments.
And it's
You know,
taking them
people-
forever
you
to
can
get
just
the
get on
others.
him. He's
You got to even
right
wait
there.
in line to park at the dispensaries now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's parking
the-
lines.
there-
Well, for,
I'm
it's
real cool. I got to represent.
the
basically
bill moving out of committee died in the House for years before it
Okay.
finally moved in the House. And
Wording.
excuse me,
is-
we're talking about something different. Now you're not even aware of what we're talking about. We're talking about the Moore Act. We
Yeah,
can get back.
we'll
to
get
that.
back to that.
Let's finish
Yeah,
this
yeah.
first.
I was talking about the Rohrabacher Farr Amendment and the kind of difficulty that stopped the Justice Department from expending any funds to enforce medical marijuana. Its law could arrest and bust the dispensaries that were operating under the Pass. But if it didn't start somewhere,
Right.
it still wouldn't be there. The federal government has been forbidden to spend any money of committee is progress also. This
Yeah.
is the first one that would states to adopt their own rules, including banking rules and reinvesting. So this was the best thing to happen to marijuana reform in the entire unit.
Right.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you
Go ahead. Turn your mics off for a minute.
Spend your resources, the proper things to support.
Yeah, let's all get together, because you know what? That's what Terry would want. If Terry was here today, that's what he'd want. He'd want us all to get together and fight as one. As one powerful group.
But also discuss paths to the common end goal. It's not a bad thing if it's done with fact and talking and listening, going in two directions. And in the bill for social use. But this is it's kind of like it's not happening now either way. It's going to the thing. What I would want to ask is, do you think people do what they can to see that it includes home grow in the ballot box? That's the common question.
I think what it needs to be is this: if it's going to be a ballot initiative,
No, it is going to be a ballot.
have home grow in it. So the point of this gathering is to support home grow, to get support for home grow for patients, which
Yes.
has been left out.
Right.
And I wasn't
Home
in New
grow for
Jersey.
patient. Now I
you
gotta
guys know better
moderate.
than me.
I
I
gotta
wasn't in
no,
New Jersey in
this.
2009.
Stop. You said home grow for this. I'm asking you, what do you mean by
home
that?
grow for patients, just the baby steps.
Yes.
What was taken
Yeah.
out in 2009? So you guys know. You guys were here at that point.
I
This
was.
taken out then.
We were at that
after
committee
the
meeting. Yeah.
senators involved with that.
He was.
But the problem is that
He wasn't involved. He was the head of the committee that he announced it and has refused to say why for a decade.
Big
Okay?
secret. Big secret.
Go
No,
ahead.
but the problem is that this was taken out then. They said, "Hey, pass this now. We'll get this done for you." And then it's been crickets. It's been very silent through. And then even
Yes.
with Christie said he's not going to sign anything at
Yes,
that point.
correct.
No one put anything really forward meaningfully.
Oh,
So
how do you
what-
know that? How do you know
I don't know.
everything
Hey,
put
I don't.
forward? You're assuming.
I'm going to macros here. I'm going to macros.
You've
Nothing
heard,
that's
though. No, come on, yeah, you can ask.
But in these years,
I'll tell
he
you.
said he was not going to do that anyways. But now,
Correct.
what I want to do is not worry about the past. Right now,
Yeah.
well, home grow for
Or
patients.
are we?
We are talking about home grow for patients. This bill, though, is not talking about
Which
home
bill?
grows.
The one that is dead?
The bill that
Yeah.
isn't the
It's
bill
dead.
that
The bill's
It's
done.
dead.
It
It's
doesn't
done.
say
It's done.
anything. It's
The
all
bill is
gone.
dead.
But it'll be the
It's
same
over.
that's on the ballot initiative now. The ballot
No,
initiative.
no,
isn't
it's not going
essentially-
to. Listen, Ed Fortune, can you shed some light on this?
No, they did. No, it's dead for now. 2703 is dead for now. But trust me, they spent millions of dollars
There's still
to get to
no
this
talk
point.
of home grow in there. I think
No,
I
there's
think
not.
if there's going to be two, it should be like there's two questions. Ballot initiative, the whatever they're going to put forth for adult use.
Correct.
There needs to be a second one, home grow for patients.
No,
Two patients.
and I think you may like this. If we can't get it for patients, we'll never get it for social use. We get to prove we
That's
can.
true.
Listen, bear me out. If we
true.
can't get it done for patients, social use had better help sick and dying people get their right to grow their own. Otherwise, risk looking like all I want is mine, and it's not how it is. I know that's
Then-
not how you are.
Yeah, but I think the opposite of what you just said.
Okay, why should this not be a standalone bill for patients?
Legalization covers that. It should be legalization for all.
Yes, it should, but it's not going to. Wait, and you know that. You're throwing them under the bus. You are.
Listen, I've had my issues too, but this grows weed. That's the bigger number.
So why are they not helping sick and dying people get?
About the people who are interested in it. The vast majority of people are not sick and dying, so it's just like everything. If it doesn't,
what about people that are just
totally
hurt? Listen, I've wanted
you with your wife
at
the time,
and you were the only other person doing shit.
Yeah,
you were the one.
Jim.
You were the one that made her own medicine.
I wouldn't help her.
In effect, you are. Come on,
I'm saying the vast majority.
You know that.
No.
Interpret my passion, bro.
You asked the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You asked the question.
Yeah, ones that are. You keep saying they're not. Let's talk about them. And they want to grow their own too.
I'm more interested in legalization too.
No,
because the vast majority of us want to smoke without getting arrested.
But I want before it's enough, Ed.
Which would include all of them.
You guys are both talking about similar issues at specific action. So whatever action you're talking about, how do we get that? The first action we want is home grow. Oh, you want to go from 0 to 60. When I was meeting with the governor's office, when I was meeting with Deborah Cornavaco, I used it. But what we're talking about, is how do we home grow?
You don't have the couple $1 million. You don't have thousands of dollars to give to the politicians to people doing it.
Civil disobedience won't
we don't
change
have the money.
Law. To change the law, we did.
All right.
Okay, we didn't grease any palms when we got medical marijuana passed.
It's not about greasing palms. This should have happened. It's the people that are making invested in. They can also stop competition from coming in, i.e., sick and dying.
What 800,000 people?
Jeff Oaks, if you ever see a copy of this, I'm thinking of you, brother.
Jeff Oaks is actual users. You are drug users. You are stoners. You are deadbeats.
The feds
That's what they said for 82 years, and now it goes through us. If it doesn't go through us, it's illegal still. It's about being a slave. Everyone here has been a slave to this flower, one way or another. Whatever.
But you're saying it like Ed could say better than anybody that nobody can walk all over you. There's different degrees. It's not like you just all of a sudden get it, and there's advocates all time in New Jersey. So. I certainly can't say that certain.
Everyone can't do that.
We all would have gone to prison first, and we all would have gone.
People are scared.
It was on. Was this way, and then I got arrested. My life went all fucked up, and that's what drives my anger to keep. I could pack up tomorrow and go to Oregon.
But we need to stop. We need to stop marijuana reform, and maybe for their own interest. But this is a multi-billion.
Not about stopping it. It's just saying, can we have our
Dre? You must be known by Dre.
It's his plan.
Right the law.
It's you to tell me I can't grow my own weed, man. That's been said for 50 years. You've been right for 50 years.
I am the law.
People have said that same thing before.
Cannabis. There needs to be craft cannabis. There needs to be organic cannabis.
No,
they're smoking. It's not organic. So it's ionic nutrients that are positively charged and force-fed to plants. Be registered organic in this country.
There is no official designation of organic.
Not a single SDA organic. It could not be based on the nutrients they're using.
Hey,
they're
if
not
it'll
organic.
get us home grow, I'll step with either of you guys. I'm talking. What about home? So if I could home grow my own,
you know what? Here's the perspective,
I have not
Jim.
been to jail, Ed.
Jim.
I got the pistol, so I get the pesos. That seems pesos. To the victors go to spoils. Yes. And I would
inclusion.
Why is Scutari dividing up everything?
Correct.
There's more weed now. There's strains everywhere. There's hundreds of thousands of people openly smoke weed, dividing things up. They are the losers. If everybody treated, can you let me finish my thought?
I gotta tell you,
they did it a little bit different. And corporations that were going to be allowed to sell weed, and the people of Ohio reject it. We all want a piece of it. I'm not, and everybody else can kiss a little ass and maybe get a little piece.
I got
we can
another
pretend we're
question
this
for
and
people.
pretend we'll get some. And by the way, I can't believe it ain't no black people here. All of us get arrested.
A piece is good.
That's the same thing.
I don't want to be that.
That's the same thing.
Again, in the 60s, and everything.
Soil-grown cannabis is illegal in the state, and chemically produced cannabis is only
Ed,
legal.
I agree with everything any of that.
Violating
But the problem is, the one problem I do have is along the way that
I would say all.
You would say
you don't
all.
Hear me.
I would say, sorry, Cheryl, no legal pot for you. Ed said
the left, not
and before any of that, they should be freeing the people on.
And
free the prisoners. It seems so obvious.
No,
before
it
you
is.
I know a couple
There's
people
no
before you let people make millions of dollars for the same thing. It's fucking
old school
thousands.
bullshit. It's
People are
50-year-old
making
bullshit.
money.
It's
People are
percolated
making
till now.
Millions of dollars in this state.
3 times.
And the way we
times.
get the action is by influencing the public.
How do we do that? No, identify how.
I'm
we
scheduling
want the same
meetings.
thing.
I'm scheduling by reaching out and writing them a letter. And
Then it's that
follow
simple.
through.
Then you will have no problem. When you
I'm
have
not-
a meeting
I'm not
like
a
that, you
giant
can
gun.
parlay it into
I'm not a
different
giant
meetings.
gun person, but I know a lot of people are, and there's an issue that as a medical cannabis patient, 10 prescriptions for Oxy, but if you're a medical cannabis patient, you can't have a gun. It makes no sense.
So then why are we not pressuring the NR?
People should not be losing children. People should not be losing their rights.
No, they shouldn't. Identifying the problem, saying yes, but to make an appointment. He is your governor.
They will
Here's my
sign it.
question.
They're not against it,
I got a
but to
question.
get it there is
you
the-
want to
is
hear
the
my
issue. I
question?
definitely wanna hear your question.
Oh, great. But now you want to talk to a legislator, and it's not yours. How do you talk to that legislator? No, you should have a plan. You can imagine.
plan now is
I'm
we
trying to
wanna
help
get-
you out. You can imagine.
One doctor has now signed off that he supports home grow for patients, all patients, and to compel the assemblyman to do a standalone home grow bill. So if I want to have additional things to address them on, and as one person, 50 doctors that say we support this.
I agree.
So now all of a sudden, when we have doctors who are the ones who created this program, to have this option, then who are the legislators to say no? We have a larger voice.
First, this is why if it's about homegrown, and I can help you with that. But
I
I look
need
at my
help, sweet
inbox,
Jesus. I will
I
get on
don't
my
see
knees,
Jim.
yes.
Let me ask you. Trenton for 25 years. It's worth something.
I've been trying to get in touch
Use
with
me.
I've been trying to get in touch with you. I don't want to lobby for corporate cannabis. They have millions of dollars going in. They have it. They have it.
Come on.
We need
Speed it
people
up.
for the.
And I'm going to change it from the inside.
I
I'm
will
going to speak out for patients
I will
while
help
I'm in
with
there.
whatever initiative you have at the outset, no matter what it is. But I do have some ideas to go through constituents to get to those legislators. You want to get constituents in every district to ask the question. Jim Wayne is in the house.
Brian,
Yeah,
come
I
over
know
here.
everybody.
I'll give you this mic. I'll give you the main mic.
Tracy,
You're going to host the show. I'm putting the communists in charge.
in
Now
rare
you're in trouble.
form.
I'm hearing it. But you know what? I mean,
This is now under a dictatorship of the proletariat.
so
Hi,
many
Sanjay.
years.
How are you? So I yelled from over there, "Hi, Ken. How are you?" And then simultaneously saying, "Well, we're going to go work with Phil Murphy." That doesn't make any sense to me. The dynamic of how, and you get them to talk to us by having enough patience and working class people and out the right leverage. And you're not going to get political results that are extraordinary.
You might be
unless
underestimating.
let me finish. Let me finish. Together is great. And this is the kind of work we should be doing. But when you're calling Phil Murphy arrest patients, you're not getting political leverage. You're just kissing their ass for favors. And I want to see power in this cause, ready to light it up and tell them to go fuck themselves.
It's right
Solidarity
there.
forever.
Go
I can't
for
do
it.
I can't do it by
On a team, don't you?
What did I just fucking say? My team doesn't include Phil Murphy and the pigs that throw.
You want to sign it
until he ain't in power, and we are.
So you want nothing to change because you don't.
I
If we
wanna
go in there
see
and
the
storm shit, you're gonna get arrested again, and we're not gonna get anything done, man.
Do you know how free speech was a work and organized thing?
I'm not
All right?
doing that,
So
but what you're talking about is
don't
we
mock
want-
people, and don't mock people that good things happen, because I've studied for 20 years of my life, and I've been a union organizer, and I'm not talking out my ass. I got a big mouth, but it comes from after another to get up on a soapbox and get arrested for using their speech. The law got beaten back because the jails got obedience like NJ Weed.
This is an organization of protest here. This
go.
The top says Murphy's office will sign it if you get legalization. Get it to his desk. That's what you want to get mad about. Get it to his gut. Money for it.
I want to hear him. I don't want you to get in the
effective though.
Hold on. Stop talking.
And to do it, it's the assemblyman and the senators that need to write them in his pocket or whatever bullshit.
I didn't say you were in his pocket. I didn't say that. Don't put words in. Really believe them. Do you know how many times I got lied to by those scumbags in that state house? How many times?
Similar crowd then
You're a
too.
smart
He hid in
dude.
his office.
You're a smart dude.
These change.
But you need to start here with these people here today.
They'll
not with
legalize it before they let.
I'm talking about strategy and the way you're going about it. I think it's
Alliance
especially
we
when I
want to
know.
organize to get effective
I know what
change,
you're
and
trying
it's
to
not
do.
saying this is
It's
the way it
admirable.
happens. The way it happens is by organizing as it's not just Lefty, it's not just the Weed Man. We have 150 signatures behind us. We have 200 signatures. We have doctors behind us. Everyone that's a patient should be allowed to grow it. The first doctor that did it, Dr. Harvey Siegel, he supports this. The people who prescribe the medicine support this. We storm them with knowledge. We don't just storm them with weed. Bring your weed.
About that, then. You're up here talking about
That's what we
need. I'm yelling at you from over there.
I said that we need to reach out to organizations.
We got right, center, left.
Right?
I'm more center than destroy corporate America. Let's be plain here. We need to destroy corporate America, not work with them.
So you want to go blow up McDonald's?
I'll go no comment on that. I do support you, comrade.
I'm a non-violent. Jesus Christ, Ken.
Well, how do you want to destroy
Could
corporate
you guys
America?
stop taking my arguments all over?
Listen. This is a problem. It's like yourself and everyone
think
else
I
in the
got
middle
common
to
sense.
come together in the center for people to effectively get the change we need. That's what we want. How much so?
I don't yell at the immigrants. I love them. I
Are
love
they
the
at the-
immigrant
are they at
people.
the state house now?
They're rallying for undocumented driver's license. COSECHA, the organization that Ed was talking about in the last time, they've got a rally. In corporate America, just like we are, they're our friends, they're our comrades, they're working class people. I'm gonna go be with them, but I love all you all too. So thanks for the time.
But we want to get
Sanjay,
this
I love you.
change. I love you too. I love you too. You know I love you. Who are very in the far left. We want everyone, even the people that support. It's not to say we're against corporations. We want to be able to do this and be.
Hear this from me. I haven't said a word, but I just want to grow some plants, man, and be well. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of French.
Thank you.
And I'm tired of, dealing with this stupid stuff. So pay attention. I want it to be a lot less expensive. And if they can't do that, then let us co-op.
I wanted to say thanks, DJ and Sanjay, for standing up for patients. Our mission is to educate the public on medical cannabis and cultivation of medical cannabis. And I'm happy to be here today. War Memorial, given that cannabis prohibition has been a war on people and patients. And when the Department of Health and Jeff Brown, who works right over a couple blocks away that way, 2020 in about a month, they have to create rules for people that or can be given it to them for free, depending
helpful.
on how the CRC sets it up. So proceed to set regulations for hardship that includes you and your situation. I did the hardship, although it's a great step, and the legislators, I think, did a great job as far as some of the things that they've included in the bill. Obviously not enact that, and that it's not going to be, there's too many people with hardship, and the system is not going to be able to sustain those people. The cannabis that they're going to have to give away or give it a reduced rate. It's not sustainable in the time frame of them setting up ATCs. They're going to have to let patients grow. And I'm asking Jeff Brown to recommend it to the legislature. I'm asking the legislature to get the ATCs to foot the bill. And with micro licenses, it's going to be too hard for everybody. The real solution, part of the solution, is letting patients grow 6 plants and knowing what's in it and having that right restored and be protected by the law. So I would like to, I don't know if you've had a moment of silence for those who have fallen in cannabis cultivation. But I would like to do that if that's possible.
Yeah, Terry had a huge heart. All Terry wanted to do was help other people. And he had such big dreams and such goals. And I loved his dreams and goals. And I'm going to help those dreams and goals in my lifetime. Because that's what he'd want. He'd want to be here. He'd be here with you all if he was here.
Yeah.
And he'd be fighting with you all. And it's just put some money towards that, or if you could buy a T-shirt. His mom's actually selling T-shirts to bury her son. That's so wrong.
Yeah, right here.
That's really sad.
I didn't know, when did you want to...
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yeah.
Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay.
Because we're all, supposed to be one, united, at least under the flag.
Okay.
And then do the moment of silence right before you start the march.
Does Brian do the Pledge of Allegiance? Where's Brian?
Know that if we want home cultivation, we have to contact legislators. You have to let them know, because that's the only thing that's going to get them to change is to hear your medical condition. Speak to those people and tell them that medical cannabis helps your condition, and the state is not allowing you to have your right to your medicine. Got their aides, get to know the legislative aides, get to know the legislative committee aides that are right over there up on my computer. So I know, I can keep track of what they're doing and who I need to contact. And, the church organizations, anybody, medical organizations like Sanjay's been saying, to get doctors behind us.
Yeah, that's huge. Get your doctor. Everybody get your doctor. When you go to your next doctor's appointment, get your doctor to write you a letter in support of home.
MMJ, we were getting some flack for supporting the legalization bill, but legislators have you can trust them or not. If that's what they told us, then we're going to work for what we're going to work for. We've always worked for
state, but my friend who has cancer will go to jail if he grows cannabis. You got two people doing the same thing. One's a criminal and one's a capitalist. That's not freedom. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
That's civil rights,
that's
man.
what we got to tell the legislature. And there are some legislators that are on our side that have told me that they've worked for this, and that it's kind of like a brick wall. And your INE tours, because that is also another area where people can join you to go to these council meetings, because these council go there and tell them that this is what's happening, and you don't want them to do that they're basically sentencing people to death.
They're banning medicine.
Get arrested or get assaulted by police.
Brian just got arrested. He got arrested by the sheriffs in Middlesex County sheriffs or deputies.
We need more representatives because there's so many of us from South Jersey that there's so many of us that are. I brought 3 people up with me that are all from so
nice.
Well, thank you.
Start hitting the council meetings.
Trying to get everybody at the diner to come here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I see a lot of diner folks here, so that's good.
Yeah. No,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
Jay was really on top of it the other day. So,
Thank you, Lefty.
Monday.
And I am planning on joining you tomorrow night in Roseland to let them know what's up.
Oh, Roseland. Yeah, that's near me. So
for my 45th birthday.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Nice.
Date.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Early.
What a good way to spend your birthday, smoking pot at the police station.
There you go.
I love it. And yelling at the council, yelling at your local government. That's good. So, Ken, what do you think, buddy?
Well, I still think that it's going to be a long haul before home cultivation is approved in New Jersey.
What about
more
the
and
nurses?
More patients.
Can we get the Nurses Association to back home grow? Is that something we can do? Can we work it?
I can ask them for that, yes. As a matter of fact, that's a great idea, Lefty. And organizations, we have lawyers here, organization that you happen to be associated with. The important thing is that you are associated with the organization. You are an insider. And that's very, very important because if I go to the New Jersey Bar Association, they're going to say, wait a minute, you're not a lawyer. Get a foundation that they have to seriously take into consideration. And if you present them with a resolution and explain to them why it is so important for patients to have access to home culture, bridges, not only among other patients, fellow patients, but among organizations, and yes, even corporations. Yeah, I know some corporations have come out in
upsend. I'm going to go after them now.
I don't know.
That's
I know,
my guys.
I know that some people have complained, and some corporations have. Most corporations have taken no stand on it at all. So it's very important to present them with the information about why home grow is so important.
I will do that with TerraSend.
Home grow, they be advocating for competition to be able to grow.
No, you can deal with that.
Right,
That's
as it is now, the law will be setting up a monopoly of state-sanctioned corporations to sell weed. In order to have it grow $1 million, $10 million, $49 million, like this curio just came to Trenton, $49 million, and then go, oh yeah, by the way, let these people grow weed just like me.
because
on,
it's not
Ken.
going to hurt
Come on,
them.
Ken. You have it
hasn't hurt
backwards.
it. It hasn't hurt it at all.
We're not talking
It's
about the
only
liquor
about-
industry. We're talking about the weed industry.
It's a very good. It's
Ken,
a very
think
good
about it.
example.
Ken, I've known you
it's
for a
a
long
good
time.
example.
Hold on a second, please. Let me just finish. Ken, I've known you a long time. The entire time I've known you, you've been buying weed from the black market, right? Until recently, all right, now you're a medical marijuana patient.
I've been
all
a
that.
medical marijuana
But
patient for
most
a
of your
couple
life
years.
you have, and most people here buy their weed from the black market.
Yeah.
There's 800,000 people in the state of New Jersey that they're buying it from the black market. There is an industry here. What
600,000.
Scutari and these guys are doing are trying to create a market or create an industry, trample over the industry that's already there. It's there, Ken. Everybody who sells weed, everybody who's in the black market, we can, if we were there, what they're doing is they're cutting us out, trying to create these corporations. You just want to grow weed in your backyard. We're all still criminals, so it's not.
Right here in the state of New Jersey.
That's great. You use those
95
statistics.
people.
And
The war on drugs has a devastating
more
effect.
to be prosecuted.
And even if the legalization law
Under
is imperfect,
27 legalization.
you say we're winning the war on drugs, and yet people arrested every day,
Well, that wasn't-
every year
actually,
for marijuana offenses.
Actually, that was illegal. Trying to get money for this is because they can't stand at it that way. They're looking at this whole corporate way. Go to
benevolent organization, but the fact is that it's totally unassociated with it. There's sales to minors that associate with marijuana.
Several
We're not
people who-
minorities to be in veterans or set asides for women.
Yeah. Who wants a set aside? That's what we want.
Yeah.
The equal
You take
playing
what you
field.
can get and move on. That's what you do. Other legalization of marijuana 5 years ago with home cultivation of 6 plants for anybody who wanted to grow it, and they were
Running
Are you
it.
going to let me finish, or are you going to talk over me, Ed? This is rude.
Wow. Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
The
It kept happening to me.
advocates of this to home cultivation, and they could have had it if they were not so bullheaded and opposing any kind of corporatization. Corporatization is America, and that's
great.
you know.
Legalization in California, and they rejected. California probably should have been the first state. They rejected it the first time. It took several other states to jump in it, and guess what the growers in California are now doing? They're hurting. They adopted this corporate model. Actually,
Ken,
Washington State probably has got the best
Ed,
laws.
I had a question for Ken. So, Ken, with what you were saying before, then, so do you think people shouldn't be allowed to?
I know. I support
Not
it
for
for
everybody
everyone
else.
It's not going to happen anytime soon.
But
how do you get there?
I want to start with just home grow for patients. Let's start just there, but this isn't about that. It's just getting the small, tiny foot in the door of home grow
Right,
for patients.
exactly.
Let's start with the 6 that we were supposed to get. A ballot initiative happens next November. Home grow should happen. It should have happened way before. We can actually get home grow to happen. Once legalization hits, being a patient is going to be nominal because you have no additional rights. So as a registered patient, the registration. Right now, you could grow 200 gallons. You could brew 200 gallons of beer. Right, every patient. There's people dying here.
Yeah, but a lot
There's
of those
people that are dying
patients
that
ain't
they
out
should
drinking
be able to. They should be able to grow a medicine that they're prescribed.
You're right, but everybody should be.
Sanjay, the coalition agrees with allowing home cultivation for patients. There's no question about that. But
I think
patients
there needs to be a
are
push
the-
for it even before this ballot initiative. It shouldn't come after. It should come before. And now, if it's going to be a ballot initiative, there's a whole year to get this going beforehand
No,
and
this
get
is-
everyone geared up for that.
Absolutely. But how do we do this? What are
Congratulations, everybody!
Yeah,
You're at
thank
step
you.
1.
Thank
yes.
you.
The papers.
Thank you.
We've made it.
Sign the coalitions, sign the Cannabis Wars Alliance. We just want to get people together so we have a louder voice. Everyone has a louder voice. Even if people should be able to explore their own strains. There's 5,000 different strains.
That's so important.
The corporate guys are
Huge.
growing 4 or 5 strains. They grow what's the most profitable. It shouldn't
Talk
be
about
just
that.
about capitalism. It should be about quality. There's 5,000. They grow what they sell.
Absolutely.
They grow what they make money on.
Absolutely. That's one of our
And now, if
strongest
we're
arguments.
beholden to corporate cannabis, how do we get the real medicine? There's strains out there that don't yield that much. They yield small algae of a tomato. You have to go to the grocery store. Let's say an organic tomato cures your cancer. You can't get an organic tomato. You have to go to Acme and buy a tomato in middle of winter. That's a hard rock. That's all you can get. Even though you could have a light in your house where you can grow cherry tomatoes all year round. You can't do that. And that's what it is. Just get this foot in the door. I know because of the corruption, because of the way it works, that getting simple legislation isn't going to work when it's too broad. Very simple, narrow. And then once we as a people, what happened with the original prohibition for alcohol, a small group of people started to get people to vote for their representatives based on alcohol. So a small group of women, the women's temperance movement, came and they started to say that people are getting beaten. This is happening. Instead of coming together as Republicans and Democrats, if we come together over this issue and we tell politicians we have a lot of people who are going to vote, and we want your support on home grow before this vote happens because your vote's coming up. So we're your bosses. We're hiring you guys to do this job, and you guys need to pass this legislation, and the Cannabis Wars Alliance is going to support you. You're not going to be on our naughty list. We want a naughty list of politicians that are not for this. If you're against home grow, you're on the naughty list. You're against people having access to this. We'll find the exact numbers of how many people have died since this program exists for 10 years, and patients haven't been able to access that. Patients are struggling. I have a lot of friends that are not here, that are not able to make it here, that cannot afford their cannabis medicine, that are excellent gardeners. If they were able to garden, they could garden all the medicine they need. Instead, they suffer. One woman can't keep guns in her house anymore because of the pain she's in, because of her neuropathy. She can't keep guns in the house anymore because she would end her existence. And she can't get enough medicine. So it's about there's people suffering. Jeff Oakes can't be here. He's in the hospital right now. There's so many people suffering that are not getting enough medicine. They're not getting the strains they need. They're not getting the quality they need, and it's inappropriate.
These are the
so
most
it's about coming
arguments.
together and compelling them one way or another, writing them letters, signing things, having a louder voice, and saying, "You sons of bitches, how dare you legalize this plant while you're still arresting people and you're not letting sick qualifying conditions? I can't grow it. I can be a certified master gardener in the state with Rutgers. I can't grow the plant. It's ridiculous. You have to buy chemically grown cannabis. It's ridiculous. You can't grow strains that you know are specific for you. No. I've been passionate about this plant for 20 years. For 20 years, I need very specific strains that aren't available. No one else has them. So how do I get them? I just get whatever crap they have. I have asthma. The chemicals that they use irritate my asthma. I can't smoke it. They don't have my strains. So what do? We're just beholden to them. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting us have this small thing.
Thanks for half a loaf.
No, give us this. Give us our dignity back. Let people have some plants. Let us have competitions. Let us gather and not be ashamed. Stop arresting us. Stop taking our children away. While I have your attention, Terry Harris. I don't know anyone who knows Terry Harris. Great man. He was a victim. We're trying to support Terry Harris. He was a victim. He was an alienated father. He was a supporter. He was an activist. He was a great man. He died way too young.
Yes.
Way too young. We're doing a seed share. Cannabis Wars Alliance. Sweet Virginia Soil is doing a seed share. We want to make sure we got your signature here. We're getting the seeds together. Everyone, I think, for the most part, should have seeds, hopefully, that wants them. There's a particular variety that is an outdoor strain. We do not support anyone doing anything in violation of the laws. Please check your local ordinances. It is a souvenir and novelty item to encourage you to get politically active so that one day you can plant these seeds of freedom. And if that day comes, this is an outdoor variety of Northern Lights hash plant, Chicago hash plant from '98, Northern Lights of Space, internodes, it's multi-branching, that will be resistant to powdery mildew and the cold of the climate. So that when that day comes, hopefully we can do that. But we want to fight together to do that, to get the freedom. As a group, not about money, not about getting taxes, but about having our dignity, grow medicine, and to access what we need.
Free.
We can't take all the stuff with us.
I need somebody to go Facebook Live and.
Terry's mom is here, and she'd like to say a word.
Where is Terry's mom?
Right here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
How you doing, everybody? This is Tina. Everybody that knew Terry, I just want y'all to know, just because he's not here, it's not one. And I said, Terry, what you put in that special drink? And I noticed that my kiwis was missing out of my refrigerator. And that's what he had put in there. And not only that, his best friend came to me. He said, Miss Tina, he said, Terry said if something happened to him, he can't test that strain and it's going to be big. So Terry is not over. His mom taking over. I'm one strong cat. It takes a lot to knock me down. Please believe me. He come from strong soil. He come from strong. I know Terry, people looked at Terry as this big old tough guy. It's because my grandfather, Prince Albert Sapp, owned 3 houses, and Terry was born into 22 Walnut Avenue. We're related to Sapps. He came for the hood, but I moved him to Ewan, and you see by his voice, there's no hood in that voice. It's soul. And I talked to him. And I told him, fight warrior. That's my warrior out of all my children. That was my warrior. I buried his sister at 16. He wear her tattoo on his arm, and he's going on top of his sister. By today, Hughes should have all their money. After all my shirts is gone, we're going to make arrangements. I'm sorry for the holdup.
It's here. I'm getting one right now.
This is the issue. So I put on the table here. See this? This is on. This is your brain on state issue. State issue right here. Governments. Now this over here. What we have here. This is called cannabis. This is an organic cannabis flower. This is no one grows this in the state. You can't get this. Why?
They want you to have that.
You want you to have this. Not you have this. That's the state stuff. No. Fuck that.
The strains,
Everyone needs this. It's simple. This is simple.
Strain availability is an important issue for patients.
Major issue for patients.
Oftentimes patients go and they find a strain that works for them, and they go back to the alternative treatment center to buy more of it. And
it's some sort of consistency when it comes to our medication. Because otherwise, it's like we're being forced back to pills.
Right.
One, we can't afford the price.
It's a very important argument for home cultivation for patients, and one that we need to repeat over and over again. But again, we need to build bridges among organizations and corporations and other patients and caregivers of patients and people who support patients.
I was at my local Legion, which you guys know I'm extremely involved in, and I had 2 Legionnaires, older gentlemen, of course, both say to me, because of you, we became patients instead of pills.
Yeah.
When we started having problems and doing all the research and seeing this is what could happen with the pills. This is because of you and you not being afraid to talk about it. Because when I started with the Legion, it was a subject I was not allowed to discuss inside the walls, because unless National backed it, we couldn't. It was considered a cross-political affiliation, and I wasn't allowed to discuss it at all.
Where was that? At the
American Legion, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was just because National didn't support it. But then as they started to turn around, it got to the point where I'm not quiet about it. I'm never quiet about it. People would see how much better I was doing from time to time, and they started asking me, well, what did you do? Mm-hmm. And so at first I was kind of whispering because I didn't want to get in trouble. And then after a while, now it's just like common conversation. And it made me feel so much more pride in knowing that just these people watching what I've been through had them open their minds enough to go out and do it for themselves. And they said, thank you. At the end of the day, thank you, because they're now learning how to deal with the different afflictions that they have going on, but they're still able to live.
Right.
And that's the most important thing to them. They're not feeling gross.
Yeah.
And
well, that's great that you started that dialogue in a very difficult place to talk about it. I started talking about marijuana reform when I worked as a nurse for the New Jersey Department of Corrections.
Ugh.
And, here's a paramilitary organization that arrests it doesn't arrest them, but it keeps them incarcerated, marijuana prisoners.
Right.
So, I was very nervous about talking about it in my work situation, because I was an employee, a state employee.
Right.
But once I started talking about it and having letters to the editors published, I was really surprised at the amount of support that I got from the upper echelon of the New Jersey Department of Corrections for marijuana reform. They all agreed that arresting nonviolent marijuana is so inappropriate, such an inappropriate use of our funds and our I was really pleased and surprised when OC, Tracy can do it with the American Legion.
And the auxiliary members and the SAL members that are patients, now they're being more vocal between the brothers in arms. And I think that is a major aspect to get our Veterans Affairs on board. They're a corporation, and our active service, you have to go at them by a corporate aspect. It may not be fun for anybody. We may not ever agree, but the only way for them, they want to make money.
Right.
They want to make money, and if right now they're making more money feeding these guys pills, they're never going to be open to giving them anything else. finally the conversation line, just like when you brought up the microbreweries to the alcohol companies,
Right.
it didn't impact the
Right,
bottom line,
exactly.
and that was the biggest fear, was bottom
Mhm.
line, bottom line, bottom line. And now here we are, have to consider marijuana in the same aspect and
Mhm.
show them that, hey, you can go this way without impacting and patients in general, just the people. And we need to break that barrier between the corps to speak to them in terms of dollars, because
Right.
they don't have hearts to be in the type of industries that they're in, doing what they do, being able to, and then
We're dealing with humans, and they do have hearts.
but
and,
you have to find out what
And some of the
which
most
string to pull exactly.
But we can't dehumanize even people who have not taken a position. Most corporations haven't taken a
right.
position. I was quite surprised and pleased when the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, of which I was a member of that union, they endorsed medical marijuana. That was huge. AFSCME, they're a big union. 1040, Local 1040, where I was a union member.
It started conversation.
Right.
And if we can
So-
start the conversation and
some of
find
the-
a way to keep it
some
going.
very unlikely marijuana reform in general.
I was somewhere, and the person, God, I wish that they're like taking care of plants. He's like, oh, not even old, of any age, that like to guard people are growing. Why would they discount people from wanting to?
Therapeutic activity, just growing plants.
About that, saying that if you talk.
And the love that you show them. And to revolutionize healthcare and medicine. And that's,
I had to think about, this is happening that our reservations are now allowed to, because it is an important part of their culture. That has always been a major aspect. So it needs to turn around. We
Right.
can completely walk.
So I've been, I've been involved in marijuana reform. I go back to 1967. My first published letter to the nation was formed, and about 19% of the population in 1969 supported legalization. We have made tremendous progress in marijuana reform. It started with Oregon decriminalizing marijuana in the early 70s, and then medical marijuana. We have 11 states and the District of Columbia that legalized marijuana.
That's not life. That's not.
Right.
That's not anybody's
Right.
reality. Like, we have to into a constructive manner where we can all take steps forward.
Yes, and it was a
instead of
good
just
dialogue
some.
we had here today. I think people.
Yeah.
I think we managed to build some bridges here today. So I'm
Definitely.
glad that we came out today, and it was a good demonstration. And thank you.
Hear them chanting from the State House. Now's the time. But my birthday.
Do you know what the organization is?
Yeah, licenses in the state of New Jersey the same standards as everybody else on the roads and insurance, but New Jersey's not getting any of that money. So you have areas like Fairview profiling that they'll wait and watch for these states to allow them to get their licenses. They're not asking to be driving under the rules and regulations of the state of New Jersey, and at the same time
That there's such an anti-immigrant fever in America today, and really started from the president on. We need to support our immigrants. That's our power, our diversity. Our
Yeah.
power is our diversity, and
more to the state of our state and our union as a country that we're paying on medical marijuana. Yet dying, making us pay these enormous fees. Theirs. That's disgusting. Want to give the state money.
Yeah, we
And
wanna-
the
we wanna
state
be
saying,
taxed.
No,
Yes,
we
please,
don't want
tax
it.
us.
We don't want your money. No.
That's what 101.5 called me and asked me for my comments on the governor's proposal to turn the alternative treatment centers from, that remains to be seen.
Right.
I was very skeptical of that, and I talked about the importance of home cultivation. If you want to reduce the cost, right. It exactly. Gentleman here is saying that it.
Exactly, because they're for profit.
Yeah, so we all agree that home cultivation is an important thing. That's certainly why I'm. So I understand there is a march. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to happen.
Sanjay, who's organizing? Sir.
Okay. From Dane Capital structure, so that they should work out okay if and when we're allowed to have grown. Right now, they're for souvenir and novelty purpose. Sign our sheet. But we do not want anyone to break the law. But once that day comes, you'll have some ready to go that will be good for outdoors prevention. Thank you for Terry's mom, and thank you for everyone that came here, Weed Man, everyone that's come out here. It's a really good group. We are going to march to the State House. We just want to get the seeds out to anyone in case anyone does from whoever's over there, so we may come back here. And Chris, and he'll definitely have us covered. As a larger voice, please like the page. We just want to get the...
Sanjay, here's the megaphone,
and then we will head over that way.
5 minutes. 5 minutes is the march.
The countdown is T-minus 5 minutes till the march down. We're going to go to the State House. We're going to burn to be able to grow a few plants and be left alone, essentially. Just leave us the hell alone. We're already patients. We're already prescribed this. Let us grow. You regulate them, then come back and regulate the patients who are sick and dying. Give us our flower. You're prescribed the flower, but you can't grow your own. People have been very sick. People have died on this. You know, it's a voice and not, just all the different organizations together. Even gun rights back for people that are losing their rights as patients. We want this. This is in March, so I guess T-minus 5.
We would like to thank you for your podcast with this little token of our appreciation, a gold marijuana.
Oh, sweet.
You do? All right.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Because I need me a new one because mine's
So
fading
cool.
out a little, so I need a new gold pen.
Oh, wow, that's a big one. I'll fit into this. Yeah, I'll fit in. Thank you.
So we do have some gold marijuana.
A shirt yet? Go get a shirt,
I
please.
need to get my money because I need to.
Gold, not less. I'm gonna miss him greatly. Anytime I needed something from Terry, he was always there for me. I asked him to do and I knew he would be here today. I don't know what he would say, but I know his heart would bring him here to try to help the sick and the dying of New Jersey. And it is the same thing. You're growing cannabis. One's a capitalist, one's a criminal.
It's a hard thing.
It really is. You remember law wrong. Same argument today. It's a civil rights issue. When sick people that are dying. Thank you.
It's a human right.
It is
Our
a
bodies
human right.
need these. Our organs receive them,
It's
but they're
even
not
better.
letting us have it. It's like little year for free outside in their backyard or on their patio or somewhere where they have a little space. It's causing blooms, algae blooms. So it's not even just cannabis production. There's basil. We can't put on.
Ed, what's that?
CBS New York just hit me up. They want 15 chant. I don't know how you want to do it. I don't know who wants the video.
Jim's got a camera. Here's my sign. Homegrown now.
Today,
Jeff
we're
Oaks, sorry.
sorry you're not with us. We wish only all the time. So I don't know where Ken went because I want to make sure. I'm on here.
My husband worship, but they.
We're gonna hold it and give him.
Well, we can't see who you are, so that's good. You're just so if you're gonna,
yeah.
if you're gonna make a deal or something, something crazy, don't do it over here.
But we need home grow now. We shouldn't be forced to be criminals. People, and is one of the biggest tried for our patients. Safe, legal actions first. Home grow for all. Home grow for all. Hope for all. Home grow for all. Home grow for all. Pot over pill. Home grow will give us the ability to know how our medications being created and cultivated and ants and whatever else out there. If we have home grow, we don't have to worry about all of that. So that's what we need. We need home grow for all. 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 Dirt made their shake is with trim and you
Rose
go.
Willis. No, I'm staying here with.
You're gonna stay here
yeah,
with us.
We're gonna try out a bong while we're here, but these guys are gonna rally.
All right.
I gave them a megaphone and they're off. They got a meg. He's making it up.
Because now I do.
I'm just gonna. All right, I'm unplugging the speaker so we can. So yeah, we're gonna try out a A Jerome Baker bong. Well, these guys are, I'm sure.
I mean, I had him in boxes, the original lunchbox.
Camera on him, which is good. He's doing good. I like that Sanjay has a camera on.
Needs to knock the emotion out because that emotion doesn't help us. The teary thing that we need to make it on the news.
Yeah, hey Ken, get over there. I know.
There's a station.
I love the
over
emotion.
There. Yeah,
I think
he's
it's great.
cursing. But
Actually, the march is supposed to start.
the cursing's gonna get cut out. And
Yeah. Oh, gee, no, Sanjay, no.
yeah, no, the curse. You cannot. You have to walk
bridges.
the line
Let's
with those.
build bridges.
Yes.
Let's build bridges.
Build bridges, not break them. We can't like the curse.
Please take over. I'm.
Start walking.
I give him a megaphone.
Don't let me gank.
Oh man! Fault anybody for being fired up and passionate about an issue like this. This is a very important issue. There's people suffering and dying. They're screaming at their TV right now. So yeah.
Do you guys both have signs? Jim, you have your sign?
Oh, I gotta take a picture of this. The camera out. It's gonna be done.
All right. It says processing.
All right. So Sanjay is still going.
Is he still talking to somebody?
You should. Well, they can't hear me. I'm actually unplugged. I unplugged. Saying.
Camden County Auxiliary for the American Legion, and now I can have more of a voice.
If we're gonna talk, I want to hear you.
Yeah, well, she's pretty.
Thank you.
So, which is awesome. So, I need to, but well. So, if there's
Anytime soon. I don't know
Give
when.
him my goddamn later. No, it's all right. All good.
About 5,000.
neck of the woods at Mulligan's, I could come up and say hi. I literally live 3 blocks away.
All right, hold on.
Pat, really?
Hold on. Wait a minute. We have a huge pot rally going on here. Let's get back to the pot rally.
Are we talking to Jimmy? The owner?
There's people here.
They float in between.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go online.
Jay is being filmed right now. Fortune sent a clip up to Channel News, or a different. That's now speaking to Sanjay. We have a decent amount of people. Yeah. There's about 40 people. This is the first time we've done a homegrown thing, but still, I mean, it's a nice. Now I know you hang out at Mulligan's. You gotta hit me up. So I've missed it, and then I was just talking to one of the. I haven't gotten to physically meet him yet. So you have to say hi.
Oh, cool.
Thank you
for everything as well.
Hey, Ed Grimes.
Yes.
Mr. Grimes.
Don't hang up on me.
Why is it that you're so ugly?
So I didn't even go. I'm busy. We're
about this thing right now. He got you. So.
Or is getting the word out about this, and that's all we can ask for.
We move on to the other side.
There's
a little
sun
bit
on
more
that. Yeah, there's sun right there on that side of the table.
Nick, I have. So wait a minute. Is it going that way or that way?
Got cold too. Is she live?
I don't know. No, my reception's horrible from here, so I can't even I'm
Technology. We're just.
Score.
I want to know what the heck's going on over there.
A double set.
Hello. I'm not getting it. My internet kind of stinks over here.
Yeah, that's what's my.
Here we go. There's that Fortune. I can't hear him now.
We have to chat. Yeah. One step at a time, right?
I guess Ed's not live anymore. I gotta hang it back up. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so these guys are kind of off the line here. All right. Here's my buddy Justin. Wheels, come on over here. Come on around. I gotta hear you. I gotta be able to hear you. I gotta be able to hear you though. I can't hear you.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to mic today.
What do you mean? What's the matter? You don't
Not
feel good?
feeling it.
You not feel good?
Not for public anyways. Right
Yeah.
now. I got a lot of like anxiety and fucking depression lately.
Really? Because you're moving, I know. That's a big move. That's a big thing in life. Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of anxious right now to project my voice. And
All right, thing. It's a Jerome Baker. You love Jerome Baker bongs, right?
Yeah.
Pretty
Where
much.
is it? Get it. Get it.
Really?
My drone breakers, they broke. I had two nice ones in lunchbox. I broke them. I break every glass. I'll try not to break yours really badly, and if I do, I'll give you mine.
I'm good.
Okay.
My back's spazzing up a little bit.
Yeah, I know that feeling. You want? I have something for that.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Lefty, I'll
right?
give you something to help with that back spasm. It helps me a lot, too. Like, my legs been, like, I did Reiki with Trace on Saturday morning, and I really needed to, so I'm glad I did it. But, you know, when you move that much energy through your body, and it's fighting me, but I had to go through a couple days of, like, after Reiki, I went home and I slept for, like, 9 hours, other than like a brief phone call that annoyed the living daylights out of me. Back up and running. Had to hit the reset button. Was able to do that, and it was good. I needed it. He's leaving. Yes, he is. He's moving to Texas.
Oh.
He
Yeah,
is
I'm moving to
deserting
Texas.
us. He
2
literally
weeks.
by moving into the desert.
I mean, it's flat. You could get
It's
into
good
any
though.
store,
It's
then.
good for you.
Huh?
I'm so
It's flat.
happy.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm assuming.
Well, I'm hoping to make. Are you gonna make the weekend
What?
the dinner?
I'm not, no. Oh, that's right. Oh, shit.
Trace,
That's
can I see your keys?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Thanks. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my bag.
Would you mind grabbing my coat, please? It's cool this morning. I got to take Austin named the new car. She's new to us, so, and she's cool. She's sleek, and you know she's not as loud and as in your face as our Black Rose was, but you know, he says she's like ultra.
Okay, what's that, Joanne?
So.
I was going to say, the quote that I was going to give the news was that cannabis, by its very nature, is not meant to be expensive.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
That's absolutely.
Yeah. I told Alex, and he's like, oh, yeah, because it's natural. And I'm like, yeah, it's a natural right.
Yeah, I like that sign. That's a great sign.
Thanks. You can have this sign if you need one.
I'm not going. I'm staying
Oh,
right
you're
here.
staying here.
There's a few of
That's
us that
the
are
plan.
actually. Yeah, there's a couple of us staying around. We're just gonna hang out and smoke a Jerome Baker bong.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Who's got that?
Justin has a Jerome Baker hidden away.
I need to grab
Late
me
90s.
some more seeds.
They were
There's
some- artwork.
There's a
They
few
were
of
artwork.
our veterans.
Yeah,
I'd
grab
like
your
to get
seeds while you
too.
can. If there's any
I
T-shirts
wanna
left,
get a couple more seeds.
are there
and
any T-shirts
yes, I'd
left?
like to get a T-shirt.
Any T-shirts left? I don't know. If there are, make sure you get one. Get a
Tina?
T-shirt. Get your seeds. And get moving.
I don't
Get
know,
marching.
Schwinton. If you need to make a sign, make a
What's
sign.
that, DJ? Go ahead.
I'm going to start walking. I expect them to
7,
come back.
6, 5. This one there gets a joint.
Go for home grow, guys.
Last one there gets a joint. All
Home grow
right.
for all. Love you, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you for fighting for us. Thank you.
Thank you all for walking for us.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You
Thank
guys
you
rock.
all for walking for those of us that cannot or are unable, and thank you all for doing it for us.
Nothing ever happens until you show up. You are showing up.
What's the first thing you have to do to make change? Take the first step.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it is. It's show up, take part. Do a little Ricardo, and my sign's making the walk, man.
Hey, this is pretty good.
2 a day.
Yeah,
No,
this
this
is
is
great.
really good.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
Are
what.
you marching?
Give him a mic.
Sanjay, listen, stuff's going on today you don't even know going on. You are going to like, but you should like for everything you saw.
This is great.
This is beneficial in many ways.
I really want to talk
Wait
about
until
stuff.
you turn the corner and you see them up there.
Yeah, go get that megaphone going. Go get them rallied up.
Yep. Absolutely.
Go get them.
Do this.
Yeah, you did good, man.
Yeah, man.
You did good. You know, you
Thank
did.
you, Sanjay.
You proved what I said, dude. You can't do it if you don't show up.
Yeah. All right. Use that megaphone. It's fresh batteries.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, just keep going with
get
that.
'em.
That's a great
Hey,
thing.
this is the fun part, man. This is the gravy. You already done good.
Yeah.
Y'all could be going home now.
Yeah.
Success. Enjoy the gravy. Come on, man.
Right?
This is a victory lap is what it is, dude.
Oh, wait. So you're moving further away from me? You're already leaving me for Texas, and now you're going to go sit down there?
Yeah, what's up with that, man? Poor Justin. You're just like you're piquing his anxiety right now.
Hey, can I pile on without knowing what it's
Jeez,
about?
what's so mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
what's
You'll
up?
like this one. You want it down this end, Jim.
This is
Hey, you were awesome, man. That was fun thank you for keeping a nice cadence going in the background
insane.
like
Who,
that.
me?
It was
Yeah,
insane.
that was good, man. That was
Oh.
good because there's a good background ambiance.
Because, yes, we're all angry, and we have
Yeah, well,
every
you know what?
right to
Here's
be, but
something
if
about-
we go with them and angered, they're going to shut down faster than we
and
get a
here's
chance
something
to
else
say
too.
boo.
Listen, hurt party.
Yes.
You don't need to be angry. You need to be hurt in public.
Right.
That's what works.
Absolutely.
Lefty's job is to make people feel like shit and feel sad for patients.
Yep.
And he's very good at it because he learned a lot of it from me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and I've been learning a lot of it from you.
No, I don't know how to make people feel bad with the truth. I mean, you got to make them look at it sometimes, you know.
I like the way that you do it, Jim, and I do try to think about a lot of things when I am talking about cannabis and what it is that we go through as patients.
Yeah.
I really do think about a lot about it, about all the change,
You know,
especially because
you know what I really like about this? I like to say it like nobody's going to hear. You know, look, it's being recorded, so. After a year of doing there was some misconception about Lefty being somewhat of a sexist, manipulative, Howard Stern-like personality that would push people the wrong way. And I had to stand up to the coalition, and I can't tell you particularly how it went or who. I can tell you how it went, though, is I had to, on a conference call, go out on a limb and say, hey, man, give me a choice between not doing this or resigning from the coalition board and going and doing this with Lefty. I'm telling you my choice right now. And it's like, whoa, yeah, whoa. And ever since then, this work in progress, walked in from the old West ready for a gunfight, you know, and yet making the point. And then here now and being with Jeff, with the governor, you know, I'm telling him I'll give him plaque after all, don't you? You understand that, right? I got no argument at all, you know.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So
That's
anyway,
good.
I'm just saying that all this proves me
that's really
right,
nice.
and I'm
It was
right.
very nice. And made a donation. Ken had some of the gold leaf pens.
Ooh, we got to turn our attention towards Thanksgiving now.
Oh, yes.
Yes, big
yes.
day. Big day coming up.
Justin, by the way, he has a big donation of clothes for us that
Really
he brought
awesome,
up today. So,
Nice.
now, Jim, what time are we here on
I'm
Thanksgiving?
here
Because
by
I'm
8.
planning.
I'm gonna hear by 8.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be
Yeah.
here, Lefty.
I'll be here early as usual.
So
Well, you
by
prove
about
that
9.
today,
So if
man.
I'm here
Holy
by 9,
crap.
we're all right. Okay.
Yeah. No, I got all that reserved. So I had Kathy get
I'll try to get up at about
like 12 by
8:35.
16 tarps.
I got like
Okay.
two or
Yeah, I
three.
mean, I hope to need a whole bunch of them. Thing is, without hanging stuff up, people have to be able to walk about what's there.
Right.
And, you know, who knows what's going to...
You know
it could not
what?
be anywhere near
Is
what it
it-
was last. Who knows, you know?
Is it going to... I have a couple big tarps right now
Yeah.
that
I
think I can bring up for Thanksgiving.
Well, you know,
I'll have to take them with me. Yep.
How many?
Oh,
As
and then
many as I
last year when
want.
they came back with
And
a
that
couple
turkey?
of shopping carts, and that was really
Yeah.
heartwarming.
Yep.
Because
And
they were
it
like,
was- it
"Really,
was
it's
great,
free."
yeah.
and they were taking the blankets, and they weren't being greedy about it. Like, they were only taking items
Thanksgiving,
that could really benefit them and their families, and it was very heartwarming. It really was.
I wasn't
that's
ready
why
for?
I'm doing it again. Absolutely.
I'm doing it for personal reasons and selfish reasons, because I had the best 2 Thanksgivings ever where I celebrate with family the last 2 years, because I was bubbling with "Isn't it a great day?"
Right.
as I rode back into my own Thanksgiving dinner. I was the most thankful, happy person in the family that day, and again last year. So I'm getting my fix.
Yep.
And I could get to have the best Thanksgiving after that. So much happens, and it is empty. It's empty. It's quiet. It's a cavern of empty.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Like, everybody was like, because at our turkey raffle on
And
Sunday.
the donation from the coalition meeting we talked about, I got $80. Designated my better 2/3 Kathy to be the one to spend it, because she really gets the most for something, especially in a situation like that. And it got like 20 a bar of soap.
Oh.
You know, it's all stuff that you're going to be needing, and you don't want to be choosing, you know, toothpaste or food or something. I don't know. It's sort of like the things
That's
that,
awesome.
you know, and
yeah, like a little toiletry setup.
because there's going to be
That's
some
great.
pie, and there's going to be some canned goods, and there could be lots of cool stuff to wear. And I'll tell you, the clothes.
I'm bringing a bunch
the
of canned goods up.
People were like,
Canned and
holy
boxed
crap,
goods.
getting some really good stuff the next couple of days, and you know.
I'm excited. I really am. I look forward to Thanksgiving. Like, I guess I always have to some extent or another, but now I feel like I'm waking up with a purpose for the day.
The mug is on the run.
What does it
The
look
silver
like?
Go Cup, you know.
A silver Go Cup?
Yeah, it's
All right.
gone. A cartoon called
see it.
Sausage Party.
Yeah,
know?
because it runs
I don't-
away, right?
yeah, right.
It's right
It's
there. Ha! The cup.
There it is. There it is.
In my mind, I'm picturing this cup waddling over, going.
All of a sudden,
I got like a
looked
carnival. I got a
solid
carnival in
glistening.
my head. It's just like somebody said, "Wow, I've never seen you like this," and wondered. I forget how exactly I put it, but the inference was like, and then all I could think is, well, then you never see me till now, then have you? It wasn't like, oh no, this is me stepping out of like it, you know.
Yeah,
that's me.
just being there.
Oh, I think people like me more now. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, though. Hey, wait, no, it's not. People on each, not that far apart, back long ago. And one warring with the other went and poisoned the water supply of that, and everybody drank. But the king was drinking wine that day, and he didn't drink out of wine, and wine didn't get poisoned. But while they were doing that, he drank out of the fountain. And when they got there, they rejoiced.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Because they went to go kill him.
I'm just saying, you know. In other words, I don't know. I can't be like that in advocacy. You know, but this is not advocacy. This was fun. This was everybody that has a different opinion on Facebook, and they get a Rosenfeld who never gets mean, never gets nasty, never asks anything but the logical question. He is Spock. He deserves this jacket. He is a rocket scientist. He's the smartest person I will ever know. Ever. And I know that every time I hear him getting a conversation with somebody who's really smart, it's like I don't understand exactly what they're saying, but there's I'm not anywhere near right all the time. And any idea I've ever had has been made better by circumstance, by me, or by somebody else's suggestion, and I seek them out. So, you know, I learned some things today. I've learned that everybody that yelled at each other and had a problem, they were done. And I thought this is kind of what it was like before Facebook and everybody could get in touch. So
From sitting here, and I said, you know, it's sad to see us be like so far apart on certain things, but I'm proud to see that at the end of the day we can come to terms.
There is one thing
and that's what we did. That's
gotta
what we
share-
saw here happen. And that's.
I do want to share one thing I think is really funny, and it'd be a short version, is the revolutionary approach, and I'm real familiar with it. I grew up in the 60s. I've seen really better revolutionary approaches, but I realized there is a need. Jeff Oakes is, and I don't doubt that would get media attention. And then I realized, he may have a chance with Herb Conway's door, but why should he do it when we got a revolutionary who's ready to get 1,000 people to go smoke pot and walk in the governor's office and smoke pot? It works good up here. I love the concept. I dream myself. I go to sleep dreaming that world sometimes because Conway's doorway would get media attention, and he might have to come clean for the first time in a decade. And he goes, "I'll do it if 1,000 other people do." And all I could say was, "That's what 1,000 other people said." But that's why Cheryl and I did, and that's why Jeff would, because they won't. So it's sort of like never going to happen. If we all, every time I hear "if we all," I want to shoot myself in the head. Well, I want to shoot myself in the head for other reasons. I don't really. I'm fucking with you. Passion that I'm really hoping that they can grow into using it more and more. You know what I'm saying? They're here. Everybody showed up in here. This is a success. It was a good day. To say that, but the thing is, you can write a letter to a governor and he does write back. Sanjay, because Sanjay is knowledgeable. He's smart. He knows the subject about the issues and come away doing your job as governor, talking. Jay, anyone in that position is no match for the governor. And maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But had a wonderful interaction already. I have never been more optimistic that patients can get home grow. They can. They can get it. They might just trip over it. It might just happen. I was trying to get rid of the sales tax like it was my passion, and the governor wanted out. He couldn't get rid of it all. But when patients were going to be paying full tax for 3 years, no, for 6 years. How many years were they going to pay full tax? 1, 2, 3. Guys, and I think the governor would be absolutely fine with home grow for patients. What's up, Larry? Holy crap.
Larry just showed me his x-rays or MRIs. They're shocking. Shocking. What patients are going through.
Why are you smiling,
You all saw
Larry?
my
He
picture.
said shocking. I turned, I said, what face am I going to see?
Did you see where
A look of
Make my
pity,
back hurt.
a look of pity
You
for
saw
Lefty's
back-
chagrin.
Ow!
You saw where my
Oh
peace
my-
sign came.
ow, that is
Hold on,
not.
hold on. Give me that.
Oh, come on, now I got to see. Now I
me see
got to
that.
see.
That's ouch.
That's just the lumbar.
Here, grab that mic. What's that? Your lumbar?
That's the lumbar, yeah.
And what's wrong with your back?
Kyphosis now.
Ugh.
I just found that out in the past year.
Is that
I
like
was 6'1",
is that like
5'4".
the straight
I was laying
view?
I was laying down on the table for that one, so
Oh, okay.
as straight as it'll get for now.
Oh man, it's the crotch, but it made my knees just like bunch up when I looked at that.
Making my back hurt.
Yeah.
You're making my titanium throb.
See, that helps you get your, lessen your pain a little bit.
No, it hurts.
You know, nonetheless,
Ow.
I actually look at it and I think that's why we do what we do. I must. How many times do I have to think that in a day? This is why we do what we do. Not why you do it. You do it for others, but you're others to us. So we're doing it for you.
I feel bad because I can't be as active as I have been past 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
Larry Vargo is the only person that went down with me to Washington, D.C. when I was Mailman Jim. So if you go through constituents, Larry knows what it's like to walk into an office and deliver a letter that says, I want you to talk to the guy delivering the letter. It's like, it's a constituent request. Are you going to ignore a constituent request? It'll be, my day's quicker, I got a stack of letters. No. have a seat. Somebody will be right with
Yeah.
you, right?
Oh yeah,
right?
it was fun. It was
Yeah.
interesting.
It was, yeah, and
Put it
but
that
what I'm
way.
saying is, you have the right to sit down now and earn. You've earned that emeritus status where you are a value to
Emeritus.
everybody. Did I say it wrong?
No, you said it right. I'm just laughing at
I
it.
just never said it before.
I
man.
never looked at myself
I'm
like
that's
that.
why I
No,
don't say
I
that
don't.
word. You know, is it really emeritus after all this? And everybody was shitting me. Come on, damn it. Anyway. So
well,
anyway, I'm glad.
here in
I'm glad to
spirit.
see you out. I'm glad to see you out. It was an interesting day. It was kind of like riding down a 6-lane.
Great. That's podcast.
I actually
ever.
kind of like that analogy. You know. Didn't you know? Then I felt more like Doug Stanhope because I knew it was going to happen, and Doug Stanhope brought out Alex Jones on stage one time. People didn't know Alex Jones. He's big conspiracy theory and boisterous, and it's Alex Jones. You know, he brought him out.
Watch out.
Before his comedy act. You see it on YouTube. And Alex Jones went and started giving him, 50 million people died when there was Lance Stalin. And he's giving them all that. And somebody goes, hey, quit being a buzzkill. Now they're getting in fights in the audience. I love it. And then he walked back out. He did that to get his audience psyched. What a weird guy, right? I mean, but anyway, I saw the opportunity today. And kept flow, and the flow was going towards a discussion happening. So what you need to do is have the discussion with the mics on and try to, hope it comes out respectful and everything, which, it may not. But Ken was a trooper, man. He sat there and explained everything, I thought, really well. And a lot of people go, but no, you got to fight the man in living color. They realized how non-productive it might be. And it's sort of like in a tug of war. When you're getting dragged towards a mud pit, right? And sometimes I'm willing to get dragged in the mud, but not if a team, not if there's other people that might not, So you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And unless you got a lot of money, you just kept beating up in a 3-way raise hand. But anything that gets people out and together is good, It's I had a good talk with Ed afterwards. It's like we've known each other it's coming up on 2 decades now. We're no strangers to each other, so it's kind of fun being in public with Ed to a certain degree. That was
great.
I'm trying not to smile because I was enjoying it so much. I'm thinking, am I supposed to look stressed or something? I mean, I could try, but that's not the purpose, right? Purpose is to not be stressed and to just laugh at somebody's face when they say something you find funny, like, are you freaking kidding me? And it's not typing, are you kidding me? No, I'm busy. I'm fighting with somebody.
Emoji.
You're right. And
turd emoji.
And I'll tell you something about Ed. Nobody's old school if not him. And we were at a normal function one time at the VIP party, and it was crowded, and it was the main suite, and there's got to be 150 people in there. And from the other side of the room, Ed goes, hey, Miller, you old hippie, you got rolling papers. And I just took a pack out and flung it across the room towards him. And then I realized he'd been going around and everybody had their little glass pipe thing for pot and had this and that, and he wanted to roll a joint. And no, man, I got one rolled. No, I want to roll a joint of what I have.
Yeah.
I don't old school at the moment.
Old
And it was
school,
like,
baby.
and this is at an It was great. And, I got to tell you something about activism and all, and I talk about the MPP. I always gave them a fair shake. But the problem was they stalled the bill that what Barney Frank was going to introduce, and they worked with Barney Frank to stall it and said, we have a caravan of patients coming from the West Coast. Don't introduce your bill till the caravan gets here. It'll be good publicity. And I fought against the caravan, said 2 buses, one from Seattle, one from somewhere else, meeting up, and they're patients. You can't caravan patients. It will not work. Barney Frank went with them. They're the MPP. Cheryl and I had a trip planned down here to meet with him. But it was about his bill. We wanted to help him with his bill, and he hadn't posted it yet, so we didn't come down, and then she died, and we never had a chance to come down and do that. And we would have. And it didn't sit well with me. And there was other reasons, and I just stated my reasons. And I wrote them down and made 200 copies. And I went and registered for the Drug Policy Alliance National Conference at the Meadowlands, where I was staying. And I handed Rob Campea a copy as he was registering and said, "You better read this. I start to hand it out to everybody here in 30 minutes. And he read it, and he came over to me where I was registering, and he said, "We need to talk." And I said, "Yes, I know." And he said, I said, "I got to register." He said, "How long will that take?" How long will that take? Like he's in control of the situation. I had to start yanking his chain. I'm the activist, the advocate who knows how to do this. Anyway, the point is it wasn't flattering.
He said, "Smoke another joint." That's what he said. No, he said, "Come to the joint when you guys smoke another joint."
Oh.
He said, "Come to the joint." Smoke another joint. Smoke
Down the road to somewhere I gotta go. You don't know how it feels. You don't know how it feels.
To be me.
That is the point now, isn't it? Yep. Nobody knows what it's like for anybody else to feel. You know what it says up over that doorway over there?
Lefty's bringing.
That's the inscription.
If it's yours, you do it. You do whatever you.
Well, it looks like they're wandering back. Mission accomplished. The end of a successful day. And shows what can be done by just taking part and diving in.
All right, pop people. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Showed up, went for a walk. That's just way more able to take part at that point. Somebody kidnapped Lefty, I'm pretty sure. Well, there he is. They let him go. Comedian. Oh, no, I can't stop. I love when he was doing an outdoor. I remember when you're outdoor. Of course, I hate that when I get to like somebody and find out he's already dead and I don't have going again. What's that? Back on. And you know, I did start off my day not having my full level of medication so I could be the old Jim today, because I could see it coming. And I was ready for it. It was like, that's why I was trying not to smile instead of I had a way, being the hurt party when Cheryl was alive, of being as forceful as I needed to be, but being the hurt party, never having to go far, you know?
It's all good.
And patients are the hurt party. They got that going for them. It's not going for them. It is what works. And 14 senators already have voted on home grow, and not necessarily here, but 1/3 of the patients in this state have a senator who already voted on home grow. Does anybody else see an opportunity with that statistic? 1/3 of the patients. That means if there's 50,000 patients, 1,666 in 2 arms of one guy, third, no, whatever, 2/3, right, I got the 2 arms instead of 1, that was a good metaphor. Yeah, it's sort of like, and with 2/3 of patients and that many having a senator, it's going to take the right nudging, and common sense and logic by itself isn't going to come close to doing it. It's how it's delivered. This is my strong suit. So that's why I'm not telling other people, hey, here's what you should do. I got my own little thing kind of going. Not my own little thing, but it's a concept that can be widely used by anybody in advocacy as soon as they see the benefit of it. See, I do things differently. What most people like to do is say, I have a good idea, let's do this. I like to say, look what I just did. Let's do it better. You know, I like to offer a prototype. that's obviously going to need improvement. It's a building block. And I know how they view things. I know they view it and how the public looks at it. So if you can explain something in a rather simplistic soundbite way that might even work as a 30-second soundbite of a commercial, same thing politicians do. They give it to you and it's sounding, and they give it to you in terms that sound good but don't mean anything. What the hell does number one recommended mean? Recommended by more physicians? No. It's number one recommended. It's recommend. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything, and it sounds good, and maybe I'll start using it. I don't know. But I do know what works is that 2 patients an hour dying. Oops, we've been here over 4 hours since I got here. That means if one died on my way in, 2 or more died since I've been here, and I'm betting 2 of give up something for their last dose of medicine that they could have grown. That's what works. Got any video of the person before they died saying something like that? No. Because there's a reason that the media shows up to find people crying, and they say, how do you feel about having just found out your son died? They make them cry on camera. It gets them viewership. It gets what people need, and it gets political cover when it's something that could be corrected. Having people cry and in pain in public is what moves legislators. And that can be done, not in person. We got this really cool new invention. It's called video camera. Everybody's got on their goddamn phone. You could be feeling bad one day and record 15 seconds of why. That's it. And let it sit there. And then do it again. Send them to me, and I'll tell you if you got a gold mine or not, and I'll bring it to where it gets seen as your mailman. I'll do that. She had a petition. Less than 30-second attachment of them explaining something to the person. That's the first thing that was mentioned when he talked to that legislator. He wanted to know about that person. That bothered him. That affected him. It was the same thing everybody else is saying. Picture is worth 1,000 words. Video is worth 1,000 pictures. Do the math. It's 1,000,000. Come on, it's easy. 3 more zeros on a comma. And how's that being used? No, not in a production that lasts several minutes. The kind of thing you can walk into a legislature must take our concerns through constituents who agree with us. Can I say it in fewer words that are smaller and less syllables? I don't think so. I don't know what to do. I got all this information. It can be done. And Sanjay proved to me it can be done because he just went out and did something just like that. So, that encourages me to go further. If he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. It's all good. I kind of was like, I would. That's about it. That's what she said. Ew. Sorry. If that's what she said.
We don't even need to talk about that today. We're here to talk about home cultivation for sick and dying people, and that's what we're going to talk about. Because you know what? I'm disgusted. I am really disgusted that
many years, but I would learn, and I would take the time to talk to it and prune it and do everything that I have to ensure that I don't have to concern myself with the fact that one thing is Instagram, and Austin has a big problem with that the minute that they talk about marijuana, because you talk to him and he'll yell at you about drinking, because myself and a good friend of mine and Austin's got in trouble for having a few drinks one night. We weren't, both of us. I heard it for 3 days. But so he's concerned, Jim, and I said, well, babe,
Did anybody notice how just about everybody here today was a patient?
Yes,
appreciate you letting us do our thing.
Yep, very much so.
Like they're ever going to hear that, but you never know.
Well,
Right?
It's still the fact that
Would you agree, Lefty? I think you should try the Rude Boy. That's my, Yeah,
So,
that's a rude boy. That's very
Lefty,
yummy.
what did you
What's it
think
called?
about some of that stuff that I sent you about what's going on with the bullying in schools? And I sent you something else too. There's a budget.
Yeah.
They need to be of
okay.
age first. It's
Okay.
not elementary school.
All right, well,
Maybe
no,
they to grow
no.
it,
Then the
and
teachers, those
and then
teachers
There you
who are
go.
allowing
Maybe
the
it'll
bullies.
chill them out on their budget. I'm one of their stakeholders, I guess is what I'm
Okay.
considered.
Okay.
So I'm guaranteed time to speak if I want to. So that's what I was saying. This is a time to get in front of the Department of Health and really, like, to me, Jim, this seems like a huge opportunity for us to say where we believe that they should be spending our money.
Who's your doctor?
My doctor
Yeah,
for
your cannabis.
cannabis, Marshall Lauer in Collingswood.
Do you think that they would write a letter for you in favor of home grow?
I've never
That's
really
a
talked to
very
Dr.
good
Lauer
question.
about home grow, just because
Specifically home grow.
not specifically home grow,
Specifically
but
home grow.
I
I
have
can
an
always
idea.
ask him. You know what?
Let's all
the
do
worst
this.
he can
He's gonna
say,
love this.
he can
You
say,
want-
What do you have?
Jim,
Okay.
give
we-
me a script
where
and
do
I'll
pay-
start
where
calling
do-
all the doctors
I wanna
and
ask
getting
simple-
responses.
Yeah, I want to ask simple questions. Where do patients gather, which is where we need to be to get to them about home grow? Where do they gather?
Dispensaries.
Oh, yes. Yes. Now, at a dispensary, it doesn't matter when you're not on their property. You have the right to have it doing that at a dispensary when it gets, at some point, I to tell them you don't want the vision of fighting somebody like me about you not wanting me to talk to patients to the point you deny me my medicine. Look me up, God damn it. I can make it miserable for you. I've been on your side till now as best I can. But I need to be able to talk to patients and get them to sign petitions for home grow. Where are they going to get clones? Let me ask you. Oh, you know where? Come on. The dispensary.
Dispensary?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Why would they have clones?
Basically,
They could make more money.
You could get a clone and try to negotiate if that's what it's going to take. You got to make a decision. What are you willing to give to get that? I'm sorry for having to explain the real world, but sometimes, you know what? Maybe that's what Japanese didn't get a lot of things like leading up to an atomic bomb, but they always got to respect their elders because use it, but you got to ask for it, because sometimes you get experienced. And you can get somebody to show you a shortcut. Mailman Jim. I can make everybody's job shorter talking to a legislator who's not your own. I will tell you all my secrets. Also, I favor the idea of taking something that doesn't have links to it so you can have hard copy that you don't need, where people can click on it, and going into that there's annex and going on to the legislative minority office, the legislative majority office, the Senate minority office, and the Senate majority office, where you walk in, Yahoo, I get to walk right in and say, I want this put in their inbox. And they put it in their inbox. The only person going to that inbox is either the guy's probably chief of staff for himself, comes to work, gets notices from somebody else, he's got, something else, who knows what, and a letter from a constituent. You don't get letters from constituent hand-delivered in Trenton. But, see, I'm willing to do that because all somebody has to do is email it to me. I print it out, and I bring it, and they stay at their house. And it still scares them. I've done it in Washington. That's why Larry Vargo went with me to Washington, and we went to offices. I had too many offices to go to. I got letters from people all over the country saying why veterans should have the right to be talking about cannabis in the VA. We were down there sticking up for veterans' rights, and yeah, you know what? You can't argue with it, turns out. Looked like one of the Aryan Youth Corps or something. She refused to engage, So I said, I'm doing a story for a reporter when I get back. Don't mind me taking notes. Is it accurate to say you're furrowing your brow and ignoring me at the moment? Okay, I'll say no head nod. That's what I'm going to have to... it was fun doing. And I got meetings with somebody to drop off at every office, and we were busy, and we covered... Let's do a little bit of medication, I might say, fess up in the car on the way back. I had nobody to talk to for 45 minutes. All happened there. That's good enough for me. I don't need instant gratification, provable by a number, I felt good afterwards. I felt great afterwards, man. It was like... and then I hurt my feet. No, I did right after that. That was one of the last things I did standing for veterans being included in the program. It was a pleasure having Leo Bridgewater sit down at our table for the first time and having the governor go by and ignore him. It was fun, Lefty finding out that he could yell out to the governor, is he technically outside or inside if his head was right in the middle of the doorway as he's walking in?
At the threshold.
When Lefty said, don't be a pussy.
I didn't call him a pussy.
No, you didn't. You said, don't be a pussy.
Don't be one, Governor. Don't be a... It worked.
Okay.
I got lucky.
And in the end, I just read that, it's Facebook. Oh, look what you were doing 3 years ago today or whatever. It was on that last day at the last podcast, and it was the day the governor said, I love you guys,
I love you guys.
Yeah.
You called me a pussy. I still love you.
Yeah, and then what did he say to me the week later? And there's a video.
That's right.
See you later, pal. Love you guys. He turned into
Twice.
Ralph Cramden.
Twice, yes.
So basically, yeah, it was worth it. For what it was worth all the while. I like to speak in musical terms sometimes. Oh, Green Day! To the point where it'd either be the next line or a line from a different song that answered it better instantly. And we can go 2, 3, 4 deep sometimes, before people realize, oh, yeah, it's healthy. Then there's the one that I used recently. I can't remember where. Tim Meadows on Saturday Night Live as the ladies' man, which is like a guy back in the 80s, wide-collar clothes, a call-in show. Yeah, with the ladies' man and my $200 bottle of Patier, whatever the hell that is. So, yeah, but right. So what I love about that show is, ladies' man, you only objectify women you think they're for your own personal pleasure and for nothing but fun. Yeah, you say that like it's a bad thing. And, and then later something by going, the next thing you know, if it's a room full of people, you get to go, yeah, but next thing you know, it'll get to other people who aren't patients. Yeah. You say that like it's a bad thing.
It's a good thing.
Well, it would be a good thing. You know what I used to, not dispute, but not get behind so much, all use is medical. I don't know that I'm going to get on to a hyperbole like all. But if you're going 99% and calling it all because you ran with it, we find out it also is good for and there's new, more significant. Come at me like that. What does it not work for? It doesn't work if you want to improve your balance. I can testify to that. And they've tested. And you smoke and you do it again, they remeasure. That was used to combat why Cheryl should use it for MS. She's couldn't move anything but her head and was being told it might hurt her balance, So anyway, eventually all the arguments stopped working because where I used to say, no, all use isn't medical, I'm starting to think maybe I can't help it. I can't find anything. You got to come to a nuance. I got to say, I've never really felt so passionate as I have today and last night about home. Good. It's a good thing.
Well, we have people speaking out, so that's
good. I get what they're saying. Here's the deal. They say people are going to get what they're saying. Doesn't matter if they get it. Is it being said in a way the general public to them? Unless we can bring to them, we're getting to them. And you know it. In other words, understand, read to Cheryl, look it up. First thing, Cheryl Miller, in record that I would make an exception for people who appear to be in Cheryl's condition. So somebody needs to make that assessment, and I'll go with them because I'm nothing but a legislator. But that was the point to get. Thing is, she couldn't wait for reinforcements. That was the sad part.
Governor's office. After
It's a
everybody
great
left.
spot, isn't it?
It's very interesting walking down the street with a sign
Yeah.
around that area, like circling around and just standing there because there's places to just stand and look, you
Yeah.
know, and people see you and people have.
That means people can see your sign. You don't have to be behind a car. And they even have the curb juts out there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You can stand out there and you look, people coming down the road are coming right at you at that point.
Yeah, and it's
They gotta
interesting
look
that
at
they're
your
like
sign, yeah.
fixing the road. There's
Yeah,
guys there fixing
yeah.
the road, and you're like, oh yeah, that
But,
shit's laying in the street. You better fix it.
I appreciate you representing there. It's part of what I said.
And I noticed as I walked by,
Yeah.
I think it was 3 women and a guy, and they were like, oh
About.
well. I got more fist bumps. So.
Were there a lot of green shirts up there?
Yeah, great. And we were loud, and we smoked on the steps. So.
On the steps.
Yep. And I'm glad you guys were here because I walked over to the governor's office and.
Anybody's saying it. The fun part is, people see somebody doing that, they go, "Wow, they're doing that even though they're by themselves."
Right. It's actually had my shorter version sign though. This is let
I
patients
got a
grow.
one-hander here. You hold it above your head.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I got one on mine too. I learned from Jim Miller.
Well, thank you publicly for all the work, stuff you do behind the scenes that I'm not even allowed to talk about. Joanne, this is for you.
Hey, Joanne
Awesome.
Zito. Thank you,
thanks.
Joanne
And
Zito.
I was going to say thanks for your inspiration.
You've become an inspiration and a resource.
Yes.
Yeah, I got some
Everybody
new
needs
stuff
a
coming
resource, you know?
Nice.
Hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not real good at that. I wish there could be more help, but I look forward to working on a standalone. When I say copy and paste bill, that's because that's what people understand. Well, it's easy. I know how to do
and
that.
They understand when you actually know what they've done, the
Yeah.
work that they've done,
Yeah.
because you have to.
We all know things can be made worse or better in committee. It just has to, or in regulation too. But in committee, once a bill gets there, they can, I'm going to change it. That doesn't always yank something out. Patients are owed, I'm sorry, we're going to change that copy and paste bill. We support it, but we're going to change it to something better. We owe patients that. This is what we were forcing on them. It got yanked out. We didn't stick up for them. 14 of us have been silent for a decade while patients have suffered, but not no more. Which one of those 14 is going to say that? Let's take a look. Let's go on a hunt. What do you say? I look forward to that.
Well, O'Scanlan did introduce a bill.
Regulated, as if to say, this is how dangerous it could be. I almost found it offensive.
Right.
I would have been the weed man of the medical movement saying bullshit to that. Don't even take that. That's nothing but a stalling point. We can get home grow before they come. Don't forget, the first review on this was done a year after it was supposed to be. It doesn't mean things are going to get done. I wouldn't have gone for that. I really wouldn't.
Oh, that's okay. It is
What
okay.
went wrong in those are to look at each other's successes and failures and learn from them. Did they fail so bad we shouldn't do it? Heard the bad stuff.
Right.
Hang on and they're skittish. You ever see one of them? They just love cannabis.
Well, I don't like to. I like bugs because I feel like it's Senator Scooter.
He's not against what he wrote as a bill 10 years ago.
Right.
Ooh, you mean he's not wrote it? He can't disagree. Well, I was stupid then.
He said to wait to legalize, but look where we are now. People can't wait. We're waited, and
this needs to become abundantly clear with Mr. Herb Conway. He's gone so far over what anybody would think is a limit that he was approached 4 weeks, ignored, dropped off at his office, talked with his staff. She called back, said it's at his office. Then and I could stay silent for 6 weeks because that's how long ago that was. In other words, I'm not jumping the gun. Herb, if you're watching this, yeah, right. I don't want you to respond. Because if you do, I can't take the quantum leap that's about to happen. Didn't get back, that came to your office, brought you everything, made sure you understood it, which was really hard. No offense, Gina, you weren't really on the ball there, were you? Well, I know you want to meet with him. No, look at the beginning. I want to meet with an appropriate staff member. Get the first sentence right, Gina. Oh, man. Kathy sees me in a different light now. Saw me have fun with Gina and thought, that was fun, But it got us nowhere. I didn't think it would. But that is a reason that if somebody chained themselves to his door...
When we went to...
I'm just saying, it's time for whatever it is, and it doesn't necessarily have to be me, and it's nothing I have in mind in particular. But years ago, was it all you?
All should know why.
Did you do it by yourself? That's a hard sell.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. So therefore, Who else was in on it? Oh, the common wisdom is John Corzine. Yes, I get that. I had this argument at a coalition open meeting. Not argument. It's like, it's not a bad. The point isn't whether we find out. It's why we can't find out proves what we're up against. Somebody who would rather not even tell patients, surviving members of families, why their loved one died without enough medicine, why he pulled it out, and he's just not available to comment to patients, to even do
Especially
a constituent,
now.
even a constituent who lives with a patient. Let me tell you, she writes the best letter ever.
She didn't write that letter.
Somebody had to
What did he say? Now, you wrote this wonderful letter to the senator.
Yes, I did.
What
No,
did he?
the chairman of the
Assemblyman.
health committee.
What did he say?
Because there are bills to get rid of the sales tax entirely that are actually, I believe, in his committee, and wanted to know what it would. I know won't get brought up. I need assurances. It would. What's the striking point? How many Republicans? No, it's not about Republicans. It's about patients and sales tax, and that's medicine they're not taking.
Right.
And with all that, he will not say. Michael Patrick Carroll proved he would not say. Mayor Gusiora needs to be asked because he should know.
I did ask him.
And what did he say?
What did he say?
Oh, you know what? I asked.
He's got a good chief of staff. He did.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
on the edge of my seat, and I knew that.
Damn it.
No,
I
it
knew
was
the Wizard
it
of
was
Oz.
I knew you would.
told me to
And-
ask Scutari.
and-
That's what it was.
He told you to ask Scutari.
Yes.
That's what. Oh boy.
Yes.
What a joke.
To the bill that are have been made. Senator Scutari is going to read them to you. He didn't say that. He read them, and Scutari looked like he just lost his baby. That's why I posted that video. It was offered and what do they got now? No home grow.
Right. Well, so I don't know.
I want him to say why. And can you imagine? I'll say it in public. Suppose somebody like Jeff decided, I'm going to chain myself to his doorway. I'm dying. I want the answer before I die. Do that, or are you going to ask for Jeff so he doesn't have to? Could you please at least ask Conaway? Is that not checkmate, Governor Murphy? You have to ask him. Okay, give me another scenario at that point. What else possible thing is there? I might be missing something.
Senate President Sweeney, we went to his office and
There's outside, and he hid behind his desk. That's pretty sad.
His car
But
was
you
there.
made him hide behind his desk. Doesn't that give you some sort of feeling of the power that we really have as the hurt party? You made the head of the Senate hide.
He wouldn't come out and talk to you.
Well,
Like you're
Tracy
and
Trace.
Come on, give me a break.
Is getting water cannons coming over the Edmund T. Pettus Bridge. I watched German Shepherds sicked on them. I watched them get beat back. Did they lose? God, that was the biggest victory ever.
And we're at the
It was
War
on
Memorial.
TV. My God, we had nothing to watch, and we had 3 channels. This was like, whoa. Now, we don't need that moment. Gandhi marched up to the British troops because TV cameras were there. 1939, first time they had newsreels. They could get it out. They went, got the crap beat out of them, and they won. All we got to do is go there. It doesn't matter if we win. It doesn't matter if he tells us. If we can show that he refuses to tell us, we win. I don't need to know what we win. I don't need to have it on my plate that night for dinner. I go home. I feel like I did something.
You were saying, that would help. Just
Governor
the front
Murphy.
of the State House.
Governor Murphy. I got together with those 14 senators and said, one of you look pretty bad for leaving them high and dry. I can help you look good, and everybody looks good. Or
Oh my gosh.
it's, you know how you get somebody to let go of you when you're lifeguarding and they grab you, you dive for the bottom and they let go. Trust me, they think they can take you down at some point. And Governor Murphy, for all things he might get accused of, means he is the guy that, in other words, the tire's already rolled.
Just straight can't make it up.
But he can ask Herb Conaway, why can patients not find out what's broke because they're trying to fix it? And how can I know what to feel about it if you don't tell me? And if you tell me, I am going to tell them. Okay. Now, what if he doesn't do that and Jeff gets arrested and it's like, Governor, is it true you knew this was going to happen beforehand and you didn't even ask? But man, it's just that things are right. And not this and me, probably both of you do. Were you surprised that the bill met its demise as quickly as it did in the lame duck session? I'm perplexed.
they kind of feel like
I mean, they
people
said it's
follow
clear the votes weren't there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's in New Jersey. It's hard.
Yeah, so
hard to,
potential, and say, no, I actually never got the request. And I'll go, really? Okay, what is it?
I'm about an hour out of getting my.
Doing pretty well.
So let's have a little fun.
Wait, so you got a new chemo port?
Yep, the other one got infected. Like I believe I told you last week. I spent 4 days with an infection in the hospital. They cleared my infection, sent me home for the weekend, and now I got a brand new port on my left side, and they took the one out on the right side.
It's hard to say congratulations.
Yeah, so.
It's Jim, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, and Tracy, I'm here, Jeff. I love you.
Hey, Trace.
I like
can
you a
tell
lot.
Your voice.
I'm always with you.
Yeah.
You're always with me.
Your name comes up a lot, No, seriously, dude, you are like an inspiration, and I don't need to tell you that. And I'm not telling you that, something which you shouldn't already know. But your name was mentioned more than once, and in a very good way. And there is a lot of people that love you a lot. And
you know what? Behind every good man is a great woman.
Hi, Mary.
That's true.
And that
Hi,
would be me.
Mary.
Hi, Lefty.
Hi, Mary.
Hi.
So what happened? The march was good this morning. Everything went as planned.
it went really good. It was like it was a dynamic. It was not held back. There was a lot of different points of view that were able to be expressed and then expressed privately at the same place. If you can imagine everybody getting off Facebook and getting together and having a discussion,
yes,
it was kind of like that.
Yes,
and in the end, it was
great.
And in the end, it was, I think, extremely beneficial. I'd call today a total success. Because, one, I don't need what I was just explaining. I don't need instant gratification of a result in front of me on the dinner plate tonight. I know that paths crossed today that are going to produce results in the future. I know people are inspired today to come back that had never been here before. I know all this because somebody took part, somebody took the initiative, and things got done. It's the short version, man. It was a good day.
Yeah, well, a lot of key people had a lot of personal success the past 2 weeks, and I think that effect kind of put everything together in one hat, and they kind of looked at it that way and said, hey, maybe we need to address these folks because obviously they're all together.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as always, as anything, this was not the end. It's a means to an end. So I look forward to seeing how some of the paths that cross today doing things and showing up and being at the same place at the same time, because we're on varying paths that intersect, bisect, parallel. I find it exhilarating in its difference. And, and that.
Yeah, I think so. I think we made it good for patients, better for patients in the workplace.
Well, it's also a good starting bell. Because there was, with the hope of legalization and then the pathway to discussion about home grow for social adult use through it being denied in legalization was going to be what was going on today. But with it already being canned before now, pretty much home grow for patients is the only game in town. Can anybody see another? I don't see. Is there one behind me?
They left the door
somewhere?
open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm hoping we will pick up some help from some and not from others, and different points of view are always a good thing, I think. But I love that it was kind of aired out today. I've never felt so alive.
Yeah,
Thanks for your work too, Jeff.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad that there's people there to pick up when I can't do it, because I know there's folks that can't do it when I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think we're here representing a lot of people today that can't be here.
It's beautiful. So, but like I said, we've got, just in 1 year, we've got so many good things out of it. We've got the workers' protection,
Limited
to
supply,
free, which for me,
more than we can afford anyway.
personally, with my experience with cannabis, that 3 ounces is not enough.
Yeah, and let me, Jeff, may I say something to you? Bear with me. I was blown away because when he asked you almost excitedly, "So you can't afford yours?" Any people that you already have, you are an example to be followed. You are the one to be trusted. Anybody that does that,
I tell people that, like, I should be the one speaking, not the guy that was in jail for 16 years for selling pot.
Yeah, but
and
you're speaking
a bunch
for
of
people.
fentanyl and everything else, you know.
You're speaking for people who can't afford their own when you speak up about the cost and the necessity of home grow. Doesn't matter so much that you have to tell your personal story, but yet I would say to other patients, personal stories do need to be told in addition of people who are suffering and by family members alike. And it is time for patients to understand that you need. You're on a video that can be sent to your legislator, and you will get success like you will never get with a regular email. There's opportunities that hopefully will appear before patients who are in the internet and social media.
I never miss an opportunity for 4 days, so I made patients are expected to leave the property of the hospital to medic the hospital.
I'm sorry, which hospital was that?
That was my hospital. He's like the head of the radiation department. I spoke to some people to take cannabis as recommended by my doctor. It inconveniences me when I have to get up and down out of a beach chair, walk up to. But the march was a good set. Nobody got arrested.
Yes. Nobody got arrested, and it was loud.
Point was made. There is the somewhat instant gratification of, a little snippet that News 12 can be seen by people everywhere. It's make the rounds, so it doesn't matter so much the degree of coverage. It's the degree of people sharing it, and if it's not detrimental, doing anything. Number of people showing up. It's about the number.
And I think it's I think they cover things very well, like without bias.
A long time, and they are pretty good. They've gone through many changes over the years and all, but this is something that is so easy to present fairly, and presenting it at all, we always win. If patients growing it and somebody's taking care of them and they start stealing from them, how would the patient, which way would we rather go? And it doesn't mean we're going to stop all prescribed drugs. So takes patients in pain and discomfort, and who are Lefty and me, we somewhat joke about it. It's our job to make people feel like crap.
Who was with us? When King Charles was with the Board of Health, Judy.
Yeah.
And that tag can accompany that plant for its that cannabis. The tag stays with the cannabis that you harvested. The plant harvested has the same number.
That would be now not clones. That would be an already
clones private.
Okay, they're equally not capable of being in New Jersey, of people helping patients grow what they need to grow, of providing an indoor grow system at an affordable rate, combined with a weekly stop on an industry, and it'll be competitive. It really will.
Well, and that's how they keep track of the clams, because clams are this wonderful tagging system that they've had for years. So, like when you catch your clams, the tags go on it, and that tag virtually follows those clams all the way to the source clams. And you could virtually use it.
If that's what it took to get me to grow. Should anybody tell me, you're going to hear that.
Right.
It can be done. Well, it gives them a model.
Another issue that we have to be city areas, like Newark or Camden.
Well, yeah, I've seen some grow systems that don't have that kind of heat. It's a good point. You have to anticipate. The answer is
that they don't monitor inner city people who use heat lamps to grow their vegetable. That's our argument.
Well, yeah, it's not without merit to say that, but you know how it goes. To have the answer to the question beforehand, I don't like it.
I feel it a little bit. But
well, thanks for calling in, Jeff.
Everything that everyone had to fight for.
Is that what he does? He says, how's the weather, and then hangs up? I guess it depends on the angle from doing nothing. Oh, so
woman.
Well, see, the weird part is I was just my brother's concert. So at Monmouth Park, I don't mind placing a couple bucks on the horses at a simulcast music. And I hear, Jim! And I look at Lefty and I'm confused. So, yeah, Jeff's getting please.
No, I didn't even say that.
Somebody says that. Remember this. Because it'd be like, why? Where you know?
That's a
So
wasting.
I operate on that. That you never know. But then he explained on the way over. God, you know. Well, I went to get Jim Miller. He's a co-founder. There's a table this big, not really doing much. And luck for you, I appreciate it. It was how it was supposed to work. It was. I didn't want her to get in trouble. I just wanted to use my. So you'll feel good. Oh, we took care of that. No, I. He's like, meet Jeff. He's like Cheryl. You know, it's like, yeah, you think no. You know.
Yeah, they have to protect patients, just like that's why you need home grow. I mean, that's what you always
Exactly
said to
why.
me.
You know, and the things. There's so many reasons why it should happen. Unfortunately, I hope I live for a long time. I'm happy that I made my daughter a promise years ago when she went to college that I would try to live as long as I wanted to live to see her graduate. And she graduates in June. Oh, that's a good story. That's what a saint he is. You know, that he's deep. And that is so Jeff, they got to get to know families of people who, okay, if all these patients have died, Jim, where's all the grieving families? What do I say when somebody asks me that? Oh, why did I bring that up in public? Here it comes one day. I'm just saying. Where are they?
I'm trying to
I understand it's a privacy thing. I get that. But I don't know what the answer is. I can't keep saying 2 people die every hour in New Jersey.
I keep trying to get patients from California to write their experience because that'll
help, but it's
there's
not
a
worth
boy,
the New Jersey patients. It's the question.
Chico kicking cancer. Yeah. He beat cancer and he grows cannabis for other children that need cannabis.
It's a good feel-good story.
And he's like 16,
it's
17.
not gonna, that'll get people to want a law that's already written. In my opinion, maximum coverage is going to be a feel-bad story. It's what moves people. I'll step back because it feels so good. It's what also legislators want to respond to. It's called political cover for them. Jake Honig was political cover for Governor Murphy. He was the best political cover. And Governor Murphy knew that the first time he heard the situation. He understood, it's perception of compassion. I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying I respect that he wants to find ways to get, and he parlayed that into something that not only helps all patients. I'm not rushing back for my next 3-month visit and having to go there. I pay $25. I don't go see a doctor for a year. I'm happy. I got a 3rd ounce ready for me each month now, even though I can't afford it. If I ever could one day, it's available. I'm happy for that. That's all because of what Jake's parents did. And, you know, man, they just made the state a better place in doing all that. However, it was the political cover, the feel good. You see how that comes afterwards.
Yeah,
and it's going to be, where's the
affordable?
That's why I had Cheryl out. That's going to live much longer. Does everybody get it? I've been putting that into. It works. Oh my God, it works so good.
Yeah, patients can't wait. They couldn't wait for the last 10 years.
And they have grieving family members who, you know, I got to get in touch with Joe Ripatello. I mean, maybe it's just being given a chance. You know,
people that
he's been here. He's watched Diane win battles.
Cannabis.
He watched her suffer. He never saw her get to grow her own or get it legally. He's an inspiration. Joe is my counter. It was the same exact. Well, then this is what we're going to do, and there's more. They're there, but when
I was going to say
passes,
Senator Vitale. I mean, he's the one that was his bill.
Can't have the sales tax that long. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And what did he say? Well, good luck. Well, good luck. I said, in effect, I got to take you down. Well, good luck. And he didn't know what to say. He meant it. And then there he is behind the governor while the governor says, oh, yeah, and like Columbo, one more thing. Not like that. Yeah, the sales tax, no, not 6 more years at full value. No, not a phase out over. What I'm going to do is phase it out. Next year, 4%. Next year, 2%. Next year, nothing. This is important. This is big. And Vitelli just explained to me why that was never going to change, and the governor just cut him down at the knees on that. And I'm watching him. He's like right behind the governor, and I'm at the TV going, I can see you. Yeah, good luck. Don't need it anymore. The patient population is so great. It's going to be like 200 million saved, 200 million available for their medicine. That leaf. It's 7% of a person's.
Well, he's a person to ask because he voted for it, and he's also trying to get relief programs to cover.
Sweeney's on the list too.
Cannabis, and
yeah. So between the two of them voting for it.
Well, I'm saying they're trying to find programs to pay for medical cannabis, just like it says. Yeah. It says it in S20.
That's good that's good. Yeah. And program bad decades ago. It really was more about patients because you couldn't help them. But now, the nuances of how much to help them, it should be deserved. I'm sorry, does that mean they're not buying it from organized crime and people everybody talk about? You mean they're getting it from a patient instead of organized crime? Well, and you say that like it's a bad thing. That would be better. It's not what you want, but it's sort of like, yes, getting cut with a pin is better than getting cut with a knife. It's everything's a matter of degrees, and we're throwing patients out still by not having this conversation. If it was good then and you voted for it, well, you can't say you don't remember it. That makes you look old and forgetful. Of course you remember it. I do. You remember. I was there. You were there. I'm from Jersey. You from Jersey? That's Al Leschbeck. I'm sorry. Let's look at it for how it looks for them. And let's do things for how it looks for them. Does it look good, neutral, or bad? If it looks neutral's our adversary. If it looks good for them, we can use it. If it looks bad for them, we can use it against them. It's the neutral stuff they get to fight, and everything isn't going to look bad. And then, deals will have to be made because, we're only going to do this. Well, we want more. Well, you're not going to get it. But does it end up with patients having at least an opportunity to grow their own? You can see co-ops could be down the road. Well, what about a patient who can grow 6 plants but only needs 3 and somebody else needs 3? Can they grow and transfer it free? Sounds good? Yeah, sounds good to me. But it's things that can be worked out once the serious discussion starts, and there are 14 senators, anyone capable of saying, I'm going to, in effect, copy and paste the degree of provisions I had in a more up-to-date form, and I'm going to put it in committee for discussion and, get it in informational hearing. That's first step. So, that's the first step for getting that done.
Well,
there's a lot of first steps, though, isn't there? Saw a first step today. Good one. Good first step today.
You can't deny the access, from.
First step, but a good step.
No, it's the first time that you've done something like that. It's a first step in, this is kind of cool. Where do we go from here? Where do I go from here?
Get people together and kind of break out of our usual.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that use it.
Yeah, they
make people kind of upset about it.
But see, the thing is, you can't assume get them together means they want to go together in the same fashion.
That's why it's something so small. It's just this little let's all get our toe in the door. We can all agree.
Yeah. So if this amount of people can not agree on a lot of technical direction, we're all going the same way. We all want the same thing in the end. We want different things along the way. We want it in different order. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people that are just going to, the more people that get together, the more dissension there's going to actually be. You heard it here first. But it can be good, you know? You ever looking at England doing business? The honorable and my honorable colleague, when you hate each other, But I thought today was fantastic.
Price medicine. How can they deny that access? That they already voted for.
It would seem to reason that they shouldn't, therefore they couldn't. But then something tells me
sustain it, and they're not going to be able to sustain it if they have a reduced price and they want it to be a small market when there's like the medical program, they should have given the patients access right from the start.
But here's the thing.
So that they actually had it, but they didn't
I can't
take
understand
it seriously.
And I say I can't understand it, but I say it with a caveat. There is something I don't understand because I don't know about it. That's always going to be the answer. It's because based on what we see, the two-dimensional, what we see, legislature, we are them oversimplifying what they know it takes for them to get something done. If I do this, now I got to go do, and well, it's what goes on. And they know that we can't understand it, so they don't explain it to us, because what they're going to get is, what gives you the right to tell me that I can't grow a vegetable? That's a good, correct question. It's right, but it's not going to move. Awesome. So it's a matter of getting people to not want something. Dollars in public relations damage, honestly. And I had to talk about it at the last coalition thing, and I'm like, yeah, I understand. What he goes to the wall for, the public goes, why won't you tell them? Anybody can understand that. Jeff wants to find it out before he dies.
Right.
My God, how does that
and
sound?
He deserves an answer
Yeah.
from Senator
And everybody
Scanlon.
knows it. I'm sorry, Herb Conaway.
Mr. Miller, this is over by the sidewalk.
Oh my God, thank you.
Well, they are pre-prepared.
Okay, save my butt. I got friends. Well, you can, but then you're in a different world. And having a nice generic probe letter that sounds like it's right from a patient, to get a form response, just to, And so I need to find patients who are cool with, yeah, if it reflects my point of view, I don't care if I wrote crap, Jim, I'll send what you want. No, them together, And eventually when it's like, wow, I got another letter from another patient, the same thing, so it's organized. Yeah, that worries them, but it's patients who are constituents, and they deserve answers, and your reputation on it. Has something happened to change your mind? If so, what, please?
Right.
That's all.
So there's a handful that should have answers to.
Are you coming in February?
You have to let them know.
If something's going on in February,